I think we're here, buddy.
100 kilometers west of Rusk Valley.
Look at that. We've got some old stuff. Old Dodge, Pontiac, Chevy. Dave, why does my truck smell like paint?
Oh, my new boots.
Oh, you got paint on your new boots.
Why would you leave that can of paint in your truck?
I lost it in there.
There's stains for life. Can't stand to have me see nothing nice. You're an idiot.
Hello. Clint, we made it. It took a while, but we're here.
Hey, man.
Hello.
Mike and Avery are dropping in on musician and junkyard owner Clint Wilson, a fellow car nut.
You guys want to come through and see the Pontiac?
Let's go look at his car.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the Air Force. Avery, watch your head on the plane.
Hey, Mike, look.
What?
1968 hide-and-seek champion.
Clint likes the old stuff and he collects paraphernalia.
Oh, wow.
I've been collecting it for a long, long time. Doesn't that wall look sharp?
Pardon the pun.
He had some pretty cool stuff. Man after my own heart.
Why don't we
Let's
check
go
out
look
the
at a Pontiac
66?
here. Here she is.
Geez, you told me it was in good shape.
It
Half
is.
of it's missing.
It's a shape.
Clint is the proud owner of a 1966 Pontiac Parisienne.
I'm assuming you got the fenders and everything.
I
though,
got
right?
every part for this car.
And Mike's hoping to score a job restoring it.
Yeah, grill's all there.
Yeah. Pontiac had the nicest grills, and they always had nicer interiors, nicer chrome.
Does it run?
It definitely needs a few upgrades, but it runs and drives.
Frame's good.
Yep, frame's good. It has had a repair in the left rear where they always go.
Yep.
I've owned 6 Parisiennes. There wasn't one good frame. From the outside, it looks good, but you never know until you start to tear them apart, so we'll see.
It's going back to nature here.
Well,
it's about
you know,
to turn to compost.
That's called entropy, man. It's part of nature.
Whoa. All of your pillars are gone, too. I've never seen one this bad, honest to God.
The front cowl, where it's rotted,
That is a problem. We're not going to fix this. We're going to replace this.
You think you got another cowl?
I might have donor cars that have all these pieces.
Okay.
Hey, Mike.
But
Easy on the donor cars and what you're doing. You remember, everything's easy.
Now
You know-
remember, I'm willing to sink hundreds of dollars into this project.
all at once or over payment schedule.
My band is about to release our second record, and I need this car done in time for the album release.
Okay, so what's your vision?
I want to bring it back to life. I want this to be my retirement cruiser. So, you know, obviously upgrade suspension, steering,
Yep.
powertrain,
Brakes.
brakes. If it's going to go, it's got to be able to stop.
Exactly.
Mike never worries about a budget. Oh, we can do that, we can do that, we can do that. You know what? Now that I'm the new shop manager, there better be some cash in it. You know what, Mike? We haven't talked about any money yet what this is going to cost.
Okay.
No offense, Clint, but Mike gets a little ahead of himself sometimes and tries putting us in
I'm
the
already
poorhouse.
building it in my mind. I mean, ballpark, I'm thinking 300-400 hours just because that's what it takes.
What does that translate to?
You're looking at right around $50,000, give or take maybe $10,000 one way or the other.
I'm fine with a budget, but I currently find myself land rich and cash poor.
Okay?
How about $25,000 and a really nice truck?
It depends what kind of truck.
Mike.
What?
Do we really need another truck, Mike?
Can we at least look at it?
Yeah, let's go.
Just
look
come look. Trust me.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And I don't give this thing up lightly. This has been my favorite hot rod for 10 years.
Oh, it's a GMC.
It's 57.
Does it run?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bonus.
Old school, eh?
The color, it's an eye popper. 57 my year. It's a long box, but due to the fact it's been lowered, the thing looks sick.
It's not that bad looking.
It's got a Camaro front clip on it now, disc brake front end.
Oh, it does, eh?
Rides and steers a little better.
Yeah.
It's not a bad-looking motor in there.
Small block,
Small
lumpy
block.
cam, 650 CFM. It's got a Super T10 4-speed out of a vet.
Why do you want to get rid of this?
This is a nicer truck than that car.
Well, because my heart lies with the Pontiac.
Yep. This truck, 25K, and I'm pretty sure we're in the ballpark.
Let me shake your hand before you change your mind.
Okay, man, no problem. Shake his
I think
too.
we got a good deal here.
Yeah.
Right on.
Nice truck. That we're gonna sell right away, right? Abe?
yeah.
Ready? Push over. Start cranking her.
It's early morning at the Rustbro shop.
We'll try to get her a one-shot wonder.
The crew's been given a 60-day deadline to restore the 66 Parisienne
We got her.
in time for Clint's album release party.
There, sitting pretty good right there.
It's close enough.
What are we doing first? Compression test?
I guess, yeah.
We got a battery.
Mike has asked his go-to engine expert, Dave, to help Avery test the motor.
Give her some jumping power.
We're gonna do a compression check on this motor. If the cylinders are all good, it's a way of telling that the motor is in good shape.
That works. I've got power, but no power to the solenoid.
Let's do it the old-fashioned way, because it's right there, Dave.
Screwdriver.
Hear that? Huh? Sounds like the rod's knocked out of it, eh?
Knocking pretty hard. Bottom end's done.
Is it even worth doing a compression test on it, or what?
Not a chance.
This motor gets done. It sounds like somebody dragging a garbage can down a gravel road.
Yank it.
Yeah, let's take it apart, get rid of it, eh?
How fast can I pull this, Eve?
Probably 40 minutes.
Let's get the torches.
Yeah. Clint seems like a neat guy, but this thing's got grief written all over it.
I'm doing a James Brown. Get down.
Replacing the motor means the crew will be hard-pressed to meet their 60-day deadline.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, gonna slide to the head.
Yep.
Okay, Dave. It took us 32 minutes to pull it out.
Better than we thought.
Thanks for your help, man.
You betcha, brother.
5 minutes down the road,
Ted! How's it going, man?
Good, good.
And you're Burke?
I'm Burke, yeah.
Glad to meet you, Mike.
Mike's paying a visit to an old friend.
So, Ted, long time no see.
Yeah, like...
How's the old green leaker working?
Oh, it's good.
Last summer,
Where do you want it?
Mike donated an old air compressor to Ted's sandblasting business.
Geez, looks better in your yard than it did in mine, Ted.
All right.
Now, Ted's returning the favor.
Because of my good deed, he gave me a tip on a smoking deal. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, doesn't that look pretty?
Burke is motivated to unload his 73 CUDA at a knockdown price.
The CUDA, not a Barracuda. They're not a car you come across every day. Deluxe interior, rally gauges, exhaust options. It's just a very cool car, and nothing screams Mopar muscle like a CUDA. CUDA, hardtop, 318 car. Obviously, there's not a 318 in it now.
Burke's upgraded it to an even bigger engine.
Doesn't that look pretty? We got power steering, we got power brakes, we got billet pulleys. Lots of juice. It's got a big block in it. The motor's hot. Okay, here, let's give her a little tickle. Flame on!
She's a hot unit.
That's good, that's good. Okay, so what do you got to get out of this piece of automotive history there, Bert?
I paid 14 for it 15 years ago.
You got our first swap meet of the year coming up. If I can get it for what he paid for it 15 years ago, flip it right away, could make a good chunk of change. Okay, so what do you want to get out of it?
20?
20?
That's pretty fair for what it's got.
I was thinking more like 13.
No, shit. No.
Well,
Can't
you
go
paid
that.
14. How much money do you got to make for storing it?
Well, it's been sitting for 15 years.
Yeah.
It's gone up in price. It's in value by far.
Tell you what, I got 16,000 bucks. I don't know if that's enough, but that's what I got.
Well,
put aside.
you give me a check right now, and then I'll go for 16.
Okay, and it won't bounce. You can, Ted will vouch for me. I brought one. 1973 CUDA, 16,000. Ooh, that's a lot of zeros. Perfect. Let's load her up. I'm thinking it's a pretty good deal for me. We're gonna bring it to the swap meet, see what happens. Thanks, Ted.
What is this?
I hope it's a customer's car. Whose car is this?
Do you want me to lie to you?
Smiling like
Yeah,
it's
I
his.
do want you to lie to me.
My dad has spent so much money on cars, you can't even fathom it. It's insane.
You bought it, didn't you?
Yeah.
There's 400 of them down that field to pick from. The idea is to restore them, and the key word is sell.
440, 500 horse, dynoed, mint upholstery, new tires. Oh, look how ugly it is.
It's our biggest swap meet of the year coming up. He's bought 4 cars in the last 2 days, and that doesn't work for our business plan.
Now guess what I paid for it?
20. 18?
Lower.
16?
16,000 Canadian. Oh, I see.
Well, that's not bad. What's wrong with it?
Okay, it's
I
got
saw
bubbles
this.
here.
What is that, Mike? Pennies from heaven?
No, but swap meet's coming up in 5 days.
We might
if
sell it
somebody
next
comes and
week.
offers us 26, 27 at the meet,
Because if you dig into it, you know you're going to be into it for another 20.
where do you see 20 grand? This is like 3 days to change quarters.
Mike, you've done nothing in your life in 3 days.
Yeah.
I know what he's
shut
done in
up.
less than 3 days.
Yeah.
Probably took him about 30 seconds to make me, so.
Whatever.
Let's not fall in love with it.
No,
Okay.
let's get it unloaded.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, there should be another bolt here. Where is it? Okay.
At the Rust Bros shop,
Man, this thing weighs a ton. Okay. Good thing you're short, Tony.
Mike is trying to make up for wasted time on the Parisienne after the motor had to be junked.
I should know better than to give us all a deadline for a car. Good things take time.
Special delivery.
Oh, let's
Hey,
go,
Clint.
buddy.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
So I want to see what the hell you guys are doing with my car.
Just in the dismantling process.
Smokes.
Basically, we've spent about 3 hours labor so far. That's it.
Holy smokes. Here, do I owe you for that?
No, I'm just...
So we were talking a timeline before on this. Are you seeing it getting held back for any reason? I just want to make sure I don't get lost in
No,
the shuffle.
you're not gonna get it. It should be close. We will take care of it and you.
That's what I want to hear.
At the end of the day, you're gonna have one kick-ass car. Hey, Boyd.
Yeah?
We need to get some stuff for the swap meet.
Avery's asked Boyd, Rust Bros' newest auto body tech,
Here, you drive.
I don't want to drive.
You drive.
to help him look for parts down in the yard.
I don't know. I'm just kind of sketchy about taking shit in here.
Don't worry about it. This pile of parts has been sitting here for probably 3 years.
These doors are, if they're not all rotted out, they're easy to sell.
It's our biggest swap meet of the year coming up. Mike has been dragging his feet. He's got all kinds of stuff to sell.
There's a cool hood. It's not even bent.
Well, not
It's
unless
got
we...
a little surface rust. You can buff that out.
Oh, of course you can. Are you sure you're not related to Mike in the past life?
There's a lot of good stuff here. Does Mike know we're taking all this stuff? Because I don't know if he's going to appreciate that, us just raiding this pile.
You know what?
Like, he knows where everything is in here.
This shit has been sitting here and nothing has moved, nothing is sold. We're running out of room, Boyd. And he's been spending so much money, we need to recoup a little bit. Load that bumper. What's that
Well,
bumper for?
I'm not here.
No, you're not here. That's all right. Okay, I think that's good for now.
Anyways, thanks a lot for doing this, Connor. Hey, no problem. Nice shit.
Down the road, Connor's hoping to help out a friend.
Caleb called me up the other day and said, hey, Rusty at AccuCare, his truck got stolen.
With a very unusual restoration project.
I'm just glad you got it back. Oh, yeah.
Dustin's a friend of mine, and I want my old man to hear the story before I show him the truck.
How you doing? I got a 83 GM truck. My old man's passed away from cancer a couple years ago. Got stolen out of our shop.
Jesus, that sucks.
You know, losing the truck was like losing him again. Sentimental value for sure, you know. It's not just to me, but the rest of my family too. I don't have that much stuff of his. Finally, we got a hot tip and the Chase RCMP picked it up. But now we just want to get it back, at least in the condition it was.
It's a big truck.
Looks like it needs doors.
They stole it and repainted it. Used to be our company colors, orange, and now it's pink.
I mean, they even painted over the lights.
I think they were in a hurry.
Yeah.
The thieves coated Dustin's beloved truck with house paint to conceal it from the police.
How's the tailgate?
It's a Chevy tailgate, it's a GM truck, so when it closes, it doesn't close too nice.
Oh, is that what this is for?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get something that says GMC.
I just hope this paint isn't a total disaster to strip.
What are you doing? Is it getting painted or?
We got Line X next to us.
Oh, yeah.
They offered to help me out after they heard about it.
Line-X is like a spray-on, rubberized kind of coating that is literally bomb-proof. Dustin's truck is a shop truck, so you can bash stuff off and it'll take the abuse.
So what about this grill, Dustin? Like,
I'd kind of like to keep the grill. It was the old man, so we put it there.
Square body, a lot of square footage. But I mean, the kid never thought he'd get the truck back. You can see the emotion and attachment he has for this truck. We need a rocker. We need one door for sure. We're gonna help him out. I'm thinking to rough it out a couple weeks.
That'd be great.
Get it in, get it out.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, man,
Thanks.
thank you. Like, what? What's he doing with all this shit?
A few hours later,
Avery!
Mike comes across Avery and Boyd's truckload of parts.
I asked you to accomplish something, not waste time.
You wanted something to bring to the swap meet?
Well, not junk. This is all garbage. So who's gonna buy garbage?
Well, I tell you what, since you think it's all garbage, then you won't have a problem with us selling it then, right?
No.
Will you?
I'm not selling any of this shit.
Why not?
Because I'm not.
Why not? First of all, it's garbage, and now it's worth something, so make your mind
It's
up.
worth something to me. Those are Nova taillights. That's 68 Chevelle, which I have 2 cars. Why would I give this shit away and then have to go and buy it? That's for one of the Beaumonts, and it's only half a grill. We do not make these. We have 2 66 Beaumonts. Maybe somebody will give us $10 for it, and we'll be up. Off, go put it all back where you found it, and don't scratch it. And I'm docking you 2 hours of pay, too, for wasting my friggin' time. Avery, go do something.
After nearly a week at the Rust Road shop,
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Mike's still struggling to disassemble the Parisienne's rusty shell.
Okay, leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. Go do something.
And keep his staff on track with this build.
Avery, you know what you can do? You can go grab the 66 Impala shell that we got to take the rear end and the steering column out. That's something that we need to do.
Why wouldn't you take it out right where it's at?
Then go do that.
Hey, Tony, I come down for some peace and quiet.
Mike thinks he has the perfect rear end for Clint's Parisienne in one of his old Impalas.
Let's try taking it out nicely, and if it doesn't come out nicely, we'll take it out unnicely. We want to get this done. We need to cut the time down on these builds, get to the next build, get her out the door. Ready?
Ready. All right.
I would never guess in a million years that was going to come out that easy.
Well, yeah, no shit. So we're gonna put it on the roof of your car?
We'll put her on the roof rack, yeah.
Before installing the rear end, they'll need to check that it's tough enough for what Clint wants.
Well, you know, the quickest way to do it is just pull the pan off, drain the oil, and take a look, because the numbers will be stamped. Okay.
The numbers inside will reveal the gear ratio. The higher the ratio, the faster the acceleration.
Always got to be environmentally conscious. Gear oil's pretty insidious shit. Ooh, didn't that look, oh. You had to get some on me, didn't you, Tony? Okay, start spinning, Tony.
He's hoping for 2 numbers, a multiple of 3 or more apart.
And we got 15 into 41.
2 7-3s.
Which isn't what we want to see. We're doing a 66 Parisienne. He's going to be running about 550 horse. We're going to get a brand new rear end for his car. Could take a while. It's going to cost a few bucks, but that's what the client wants. That's what we're going to give him.
Okay, so send it down to us, Mike.
I'll get it there tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay, you're good. Straight, crank her hard. Keep coming.
Mike and Connor are now starting disassembly on Connor's charity project.
It's good there.
Dustin's recently recovered stolen truck.
We're changing this one door. They even changed these. Yeah. They should call us Sob Story Auto Body.
Well, hey, that's all you. My dad's a sucker for sob stories. It's cost him a lot of money in the past. I'm definitely not as much of a softie as he is, but I feel for Dustin. Nobody deserves to have their truck stolen, especially one that's got sentimental value like this.
Yeah, we got to do a bit of repair to this one. But all in all, it's all pretty solid.
Yeah.
We need a seat for him.
Seat?
Because this isn't the right seat for the truck. It's the wrong year.
His dash is just roached. You got it all? Do I have to write it down?
I know exactly what we need.
Let's go check out Lyle. I know he's got a bunch of these things. If we're on the hunt for some parts for Dustin, Lyle's the man. Lyle!
What the hell's going on here?
How's it going, man? Look at the lineup of square bodies.
I gotta get them all. Otherwise, you'll get them.
Basically, Lyle's a square body guy in Rust Valley. He rebuilds them, he scraps them out, he sells parts. You need a seat, a mint driver's door, 2 door panels, and a dash.
I got it all. You bring your wrenches?
Yeah.
You know how to turn them, though?
Yeah.
He doesn't. That's why he brought me.
I brought the kid.
There's junk everywhere. You gotta watch it. I hoard stuff. The door's got a little bit of rust on the bottom. You might not want that one.
Driver's door is the one we need.
But there's nice door panels with it. They're all nice. Too nice for you, really.
We don't want to have to patch it. I'm just not into it.
No.
You'd have to put one little patch, but that ain't bad. Okay, yeah. Where's your seat?
Look at that. Isn't that beauty?
Oh, look at that.
That is in good shape.
All right, another truck in here. Yeah, and they got a tractor pull happening in the corner there.
Wow, you've been busy. Hey, where are you hiding this dash?
We're gonna hide over here. Black goes with anything, but brown goes too.
I like the black one. What's the package deal?
$1,000. But for you, 1,100.
Come on, Lyle.
800 today. I'll give you the whole works.
700.
750.
700.
725.
Okay.
Hey, let's get out of here.
Let's go grab some tools. Look at that thing.
The next morning, Mike's heard there's a client interested in one of his most prized possessions.
Looks like it's doing 100 miles an hour standing still, man. Beauty.
A 1970 Dodge RT Charger.
What are you doing? Connor told somebody I'd sell the thing for 50 grand and they want pictures.
Connor has a lead on a buyer eager to snap it up before tomorrow's swap meet.
I don't want to sell it, not even for 50. I'll never get another one that's been parked 25 years. This thing's a survivor.
What do you think you're gonna find you dig into this? A pristine car? If you do, you're on glue.
Yeah, but this is factory air. All the upholstery's mint. Door panels are mint. I've got the original key codes. I've got the fender tag. I know the whole history of the car from day one.
The swap meet's coming up. He might as well forget about making any money.
Yeah?
I'm not doing it. No.
If someone gives you 50 grand for it.
I don't care. I'm not selling it. I'm having separation anxiety. You can sell it when I'm dead. Off. Bastard. I'd rather sell 4 other cars at 10,000 a piece and keep that one. Why sell the diamonds and keep silver? There's got to be something here that's good, eh?
There's just an hour to spare before the swap meet.
Hang on, before you drop something on my toes.
Avery's finally convinced Mike to sell some of his parts.
We're just looking for something we think is gonna sell and gonna raise some cash today. Grab that bumper, it's something old, somebody'd want that. Maybe grab that one too.
Holy grab it yourself.
No, I'm looking for shit. You're the grabber. Oh, hey, these are worth money. None of the parts that Avery picked are ones I wanted to sell. I decide what parts I'm gonna sell and for what price. Okay, here. Careful with those. Okay, what else we got here? Oh, it's a plow or something.
Or something.
That's a cool piece, eh?
Yeah, it's yard art. People will buy that instantly.
Think
They'll
so?
feel, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll figure
Okay.
they got shot in the ass with a bolt of lightning.
Hey, how about the tractor?
It'd sell.
Let's load this up. You strong like an ox.
Oh, yeah.
Are we
building cars or farming? Yeah.
I'm raising rust. The collector car world attracts all sorts. Hoarders, billionaires, poor man, rich man, smart man, dumb man, you name it. Like, you just never know, but it attracts everybody.
It's a record turnout for this year's White Post Auto Museum Spring Swap Meet.
These guys just gonna move this guy in here?
Avery, what about this one?
How much?
I think we're
You're gonna take the cap off, Mike.
Is that why it didn't work?
Mike's plan for today is to try for a quick flip on some of his recent car purchases.
You never know. Miracles happen. They only made 2,200 of them. You got the 73 Cuda? 30K. Might be a little high, but it's a cool car. I mean, if we can get 30K, I'm taking the money and run it. You've got the 64 Biscayne wagon, got a smoking deal on it, 1,500. Put it there for 45 with a parts car. Comes with
rust.
Parts car. Up top, at the upper shop, we've also pulled out some of the projects that we didn't sell last year. We've got the yellow truck, and then the creme de la creme, we've got the 70 RT Charger. I'm in no rush to give it away, but it's one hot-looking car. There's gonna be 2,000 people at this thing. Basically, it's like throwing crumbs to a herd of ducks.
Mike, Mike. Junior over there wants to go into the plowing business, I think. Come over here.
Does it run?
Yeah, this motor will run quite fine. Clean it up, be a good project for you. What do you want to do with it?
Well, my grandpa does the little garden tractor pulls.
It'd be awesome for that. This is a heavy, heavy tractor.
Floppy.
Junior says you might be interested in this thing.
Oh, yeah. Like it's not seized.
Look at this. This thing runs all day long. It's a cast iron block. This motor's a good motor.
150 bucks.
You take $100 for it?
Why don't you give me 125? Meet me in the middle. It's a good. This and the seat's worth $100.
You give him 100. I'll put you in the box.
Oh, there we go.
Look at that.
Thank you. I'm happy. I'm going to a good home.
It is.
Thank you, man. Goodbye. He's gonna value the investment he has in that thing, and therefore he's gonna take pride in doing something with it. Avery, you stick around. I'm gonna go eat.
Well, go bring me a hot dog back before I die. Step right up. Don't be shy.
Oh, there we go. Oh, yes. Ukrainian smoky, the farmer's sausage. How are you? Good. 2 of them.
You want to buy this plow?
What's the price?
I'll tell you what, bottom line price, $60.
$60, eh?
Thanks a lot.
50, that's my final offer.
You got 50 cash on you?
I do.
Decorate my hand.
Decorate my hand.
Thank you, sir.
Avery!
What?
I sold the other one with no disc for 60. So tell me you got more for that one.
No, I didn't.
Well, then it's not yours to sell.
It is. We're gone. I got 50 bucks for it, Mike. It's the end of the day. Nobody was taking it.
It's noon. It's not the end of the day.
Anybody looking at anything gonna buy anything's already
Give
gone.
him back his money. Avery, I leave you for $8 for your $8. Do you want it or not?
No, I don't want it.
Now I got 2 hot dogs.
I'll trade you some water for a hot dog.
Nope. $8. Whip out the sock, buddy. Come on, keep coming. Okay, there's 8. There you go.
Mike, what you done to my hot dog? It's got handprints all over it.
This one is a Cuda. It's got a killer stereo in it. You'd look good in that car, hon.
The day is half over, and most of Mike's merchandise hasn't sold.
Look under the hood. Everybody's looking at that Cuda.
Wow.
It's one hot-looking car. I take cash and I take cash. Tell your friends. Like to see it gone today. I mean, that thing looks like a Hot Wheels car, except life-size. This one is a Cuda, not a Barracuda.
They're getting hard to find, eh?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Set the hook.
Sounds good.
Okay, it's 35 now. He's smiling.
She's on sale today.
It's for sale. It's not on sale.
Oh, my mistake. For sale, on sale?
Cudas are a hot commodity. They're not common, so you don't give them away.
What are you looking for out of this?
Right the way it sits, I figure it's worth about 30K.
25 come close?
Nope.
Mike, you know what? You're a chowderhead.
No, I'm not. 27.5. I'll meet you in the middle, if you're serious.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk around and come back.
Yeah, take a look. Like, I mean, it's here. Okay, man, thanks for asking. End of the day, I mean, I sold a few parts. Well, we never sold those. You said those would sell too.
I just tried selling them.
I was hoping to have a couple big-ticket items sell, so, I mean, I'm a little disappointed, but you can't win them all. It's just too bad we never sold the Cuda.
I thought you were a salesman.
Yeah, well, whatever. And look who's looking at my 70 RT. Basim.
Hey, Mike.
How's it going, man? This guy's been bugging me for 2 years about this RT Charger. What are you here for?
Same thing.
Same thing you've been here the last 3 times, Basim.
This car, when I saw it first time, was just love from first sight. It's like my dream car, right?
It's all original except for the engine.
For over a decade, Mike's resisted selling his beloved Charger to anyone.
It does have good options. Power steering, power brakes.
Oh, it's got a factory air too, hey?
Yes, factory air.
Nice.
He knows he's looking at a rare piece of Mopar muscle.
Let's take it for a test drive now.
Let's take it for a test drive.
Don't let fear and common sense slow you down.
Are you ready, Mike?
I'm ready.
Let's go for a ride. What's the speed limit, 20? Now it's on. You know what, Mike? The car shifts well, actually.
It does.
Really good.
That thing's got a bit of pep, eh?
That was fun, Mike.
Now that smells like an old car, eh?
So you gonna sell it to me or what? I've been trying to buy this car for the last 2 years. Mike doesn't want to sell any of his stuff, especially this 70 Charger.
Okay, so what are you offering today?
45.
It's worth 50.
Seriously, Mike, it's tough to negotiate with you.
It's the longest deal in history with him, I think, this car and you. 2 years.
I tell you what,
Yes.
I appreciate the interest you've shown. $47,000. Take it or leave it.
You got a 4-speed to throw in with the car? Transmission?
What, you mean like an 833?
Yeah.
No. I'm not throwing in a free 833, no.
How about this? Final offer. 47.5 with the transmission plus 6 cans of beer.
Okay, I know it's going to a good home.
Thank you.
Okay.
My friend,
And I get-
finally,
but-
congratulations.
But you have to give me the 6 cans of beer. Okay. I know the car is going to a great home. It will be restored the way it should be, and that kid is going to have a grin on his face for years to come. Okay, man, thanks again. Day started off a little rough. It ended on a high note, about $47,500 high note. So, I mean, all in all, it was a good day. I need a couple more of these every month.
Inside the shop, the body crew's making progress on Dustin's GMC truck.
This year, hopefully, we're gonna find the balance. I can't just go broke building other people's cars. But to me, the cars bring back a flood of emotions for some people. One of the fondest memories Dustin has of his dad is building that truck, and it'd be nice if we get it back where it looks a little better than it did.
So I guess we're ripping this thing apart today?
Yeah, we're gonna pluck her off the frame, see what the mounts are like, and lift it up.
Mike can't afford any more setbacks to the Parisienne's 60-day build, so he's asked Connor and Avery to make sure the frame's as solid as Clint promised.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Ooh, that's no good though.
It's
Frame's cracking here and rusted. She's broken.
look at this. Right here, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get the body ripped off it, and then we can look at the whole frame. Is that just spinning?
It's rotted right out. Connor, is there anything holding this body on?
I don't think so.
It's all bad.
Frame is safety, body's looks. Keep coming. We want to check his frame. The whole car rides on the frame. How rotten is it? That's a little soft.
What's this?
Oh, it's Bondo. Who in their right mind Bondos a frame? Is that a scabbed on patch?
It is.
Holy. This is not like, you know, a little bit of a rust repair on a body. When you have an issue with the frame between your axles, that frame can snap.
Like, that's bad.
The whole rail's done.
We can't let this thing leave our shop.
Well, should we make some phone calls?
Phone your father.
The Parisienne restoration is dead in the water until a solution for its frame can be found.
Connor, what's up?
So you want the good news or you want the bad news?
What a tough choice. Give me the bad news. Get it over with.
Frame's rotten.
Sakes.
Somebody's patched it, somebody's done some work to it, they had Bondo on it and shit, like...
I knew better.
That's why when we looked at the car,
I asked Clint.
how's the frame? He said
It was good to go.
The good news is the body's off the frame.
K5.
Okay, we need some strong backs and weak minds. Who here qualifies?
All of us.
On three or just off?
At the Rust Bros shop, Mike's put the Parisienne and its rusty frame on hold.
Yeah, it's good there.
Yeah.
Whole crews taking Dustin's late father's truck from crime scene to cherished heirloom.
I might live to be 90, I don't know, but my dad died at 60.
That's gonna look really good.
Hey, down?
My dad was a special person. He was always bringing strangers home, helping them out. So it's kind of good to see my kid helping other people. Those that can afford to give should.
I guess we get at her.
Thanks.
Okay.
It's all yours. Ciao.
With the Thieves' pink house paint finally stripped, the team at Linex is restoring the truck to its once orange glory in a gritty new hard-wearing finish.
That's what you call Hugger Orange, all right, eh?
That's right, yeah.
That's amazing.
At the Rust Valley Outlaw Drag Strip, where locals come to show off their rides.
I'm sure you've done a few passes on this stretch, eh?
Yeah, we've all done passes up here. This is the old man showed me this place originally.
Connors brought Dustin to see his finished truck at a place that holds a lot of memories.
Me and my dad, we had a ton of fun, ripping up and down in old hot rods. I think this has been a race strip since pavement got laid down.
Nice straight stretch.
Man, I'm stoked to see this truck. Oh, just anxious as hell, hey? Super nervous, super nervous. I can't even believe the truck's coming back after a month.
Oh, I hear it.
No shit. Look at this thing. This thing looks good from that far away. No way. You guys blew it out of the water. Right on.
Come take a look.
That thing looks insane.
Oh, here it is, buddy. Shiny and new.
What a difference. Wow, guys, I don't even know what to say. These guys went above and beyond. All the bodywork's done, all the metal's done. It's got full Linex. Like, wow, this was done right. I can't believe how clean it is. Hey? The Hugger Orange is unreal, you guys, though. Hey? In the sunlight, the sparkle, the metallics.
The color turned out awesome.
It was a perfect pick. The whole truck is like a brand new truck. I myself didn't think it would ever be that good.
So this is the door we put on, right? The rockers are all new.
Hey, the seat. Oh, what a difference.
Right?
Hey, that seat. This is amazing.
Oh, look, even got matching door panels, buddy.
This is beyond amazing.
Like that beautiful tailgate?
I love the tailgate.
GMC.
It opens, too. Look at the box liner and all.
Yeah.
Hey? Wow.
It's the whole thing is Linex,
The
man.
whole thing. The lights, even.
Yeah, everything turned out, man.
Every detail. You guys do great work.
Well, what do you think your dad would think of it, eh?
He wouldn't even know what to think. He would like every part of this. Dad would be blown away. I think Dad would be stoked. He would. He'd be happy.
He's almost in tears.
Yeah, happier than shit. I wish the old guy could have seen it.
It's eye-popping. She'll be grabbing attention.
Can we drive it or what?
Yeah,
sure.
It's your truck.
Yeah. Dude, this thing's awesome. Hey, time worked back in 1980.
it going? What can I do for you?
We're looking for a classic.
Might have one or two.
The next day at the shop,
here's two with a little bit of color.
A newlywed couple is on the hunt for a colorful classic car that could be their wedding present to each other.
57 GMC. Somebody's already put a Camaro clip in it.
So with the front clip, does that mean it's got disc brakes
Disc
up front?
brakes, yeah, power steering, all the modern amenities in a classic look. 73 Cuda, plum purple. I mean, it's not perfect. It's really loud.
Loud is good.
Here, hop in. Fire it up.
I've dreamed of owning a muscle car from the time that I could drive.
Oh, I want to take her for a burn?
Something growly and sexy.
It likes lots of gas.
It shifts hard. It's full manual. That's like for drag racing.
This is fun to drive.
What do you think?
How much are you asking?
Well, you tell me.
You take 25?
No.
26.
No. I tell you what, as is, where is, I don't touch it again, I would take 27,000 bucks.
All right. Got yourself a deal.
Perfect, thank you very much. Oh, look, your nails even match the car. I didn't lose, it's gone to a good home, and if I'd have torn it apart, I'd have another 30, 40 grand into it and I'd be buried. No matter how you look at it, it was a win. Oh, where's the keys? Oh, okay, well, there you
They're
go.
mine already.
I know whose car it is. Let me get some paperwork.
The morning sun slanted through the dusty windows of Rust Valley, casting long streaks of gold over a landscape that smelled of oil, rust, and a kind of stubborn hope that only mechanics seemed to understand. The lot was alive with the clatter of tools, the hiss of air compressors, and the occasional cough of engines that hadn't seen proper care in decades, yet somehow still clung to life as if they, too, had stories to tell. Michael, the unofficial ringleader of the crew, stood at the center of the chaos, his hands smudged with grease and his hair sticking up in that disheveled way that made him look perpetually on the edge of revelation or disaster. He held a clipboard that might have once been important, or maybe it was just another prop in the theater of their daily lives, and he squinted down at a list of projects, some of which had been languishing for months, some for years. "All right," he barked, though it was more of a rough exhale than a command. "We've got the 67 Mustang coming in, the 72 Chevelle needs bodywork, and that old Plymouth Barracuda, don't even ask, might bite you if you look at it wrong. Who's starting with what?" A chorus of groans and muttered agreements followed, punctuated by the metallic clank of a drop wrench. Jay, who was perched on the edge of a dented workbench like a bird ready to take flight or strike, shot a quick glance around before offering, "I'll take the Mustang. But only because I like a challenge that might kill me." His smirk carried a kind of bravado that could either save the day or get you covered in more rust than paint. Around him, the team exchanged glances that spoke a language older than words, one forged in the fire of engines, oil, and the occasional misadventure that ended with a car part lodged in someone's forehead. Challenge accepted, Michael muttered, more to himself than to anyone else, and turned to inspect the Barracuda, which sat in the corner like a predator waiting for an unsuspecting prey to wander too close. Its paint was peeling, the tires were cracked, and the interior smelled faintly of mothballs and lost dreams. It was a car that had seen better decades, if such a thing could even be measured, and it seemed to glare at them with the kind of contempt only a machine that's been neglected could muster. Rebecca wandered in, carrying a box of miscellaneous parts and an air of calm that felt almost alien amidst the manic energy of the workshop. Her eyes scanned the chaos, noting the uneven placement of tools, the haphazard stacks of panels, and the precarious pile of tires in the corner that someone had promised would stay put this time. "Morning," she said, voice smooth but carrying an edge of amusement, like she'd seen this kind of scene unfold 1,000 times before. Any new catastrophes today, or are we just continuing the usual mayhem? Michael didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked over to the Barracuda, brushing his hand along the rusted fender and feeling the pitted metal give under his touch. I think today, he said finally, we attempt something that borders on madness. Or genius. Hard to tell which until it's over. He glanced over at Jay, who grinned like a man who knew exactly what was coming. In Rust Valley, genius and madness were often indistinguishable, and the line between them was frequently crossed with a hammer and a socket wrench. Outside, the lot was alive with more than just people. Birds caught from nearby trees, circling and landing on broken-down signs and discarded bumpers as if judging the human chaos below. The sun climbed higher, illuminating dust particles that hung in the air, dancing in rays like tiny ghosts of cars past. Somewhere, a lawnmower engine sputtered to life, though its owner was nowhere in sight, adding to the symphony of industrial life that defined the valley. Michael crouched by the Barracuda's front wheel, peering into the rusted wheel well and tracing the faint outline of a previous repair that had been more hopeful than skillful. This one's going to need everything, he muttered, not looking up as if speaking aloud might summon disaster prematurely. Rebecca crouched beside him, laying out a few tools with meticulous care, and said, everything meaning the frame, the suspension, and probably the electrical system that's older than me. Sounds like a typical Tuesday. They exchanged a glance that combined disbelief, determination, and the faintest trace of excitement, because in Rust Valley, the absurdity of taking something decayed beyond recognition and attempting resurrection was part of the ritual, a dance of metal and madness that bound them together more tightly than any ordinary job could. Meanwhile, Jay had disappeared into the depths of the workshop, emerging moments later with a roll of masking tape and a crate of random mechanical components. He dumped them on a workbench with a flourish, like a magician revealing cards, and said, I call this preparation for chaos. Michael shook his head, muttering something under his breath that sounded like a curse or a prophecy. It was hard to tell which. He grabbed a hammer and gently tapped along the Barracuda's fender, listening to the sound of hollow metal beneath the surface. It's talking to us, he said, almost reverently, as if the car were a living entity. Or threatening us. Maybe both. Rebecca leaned closer, scrutinizing the panel with a critical eye. It's definitely threatening. And it's going to win if we don't treat it right. They worked in companionable silence for a while, the kind that only comes when a shared obsession takes over. Every clang of metal, every hiss of air, every spark from a grinder added to the narrative they were crafting, a story of revival and rebellion against decay. Outside, a truck rumbled into the lot, kicking up dust and announcing the arrival of yet another vehicle that would demand attention. Michael straightened, wiping his hands on a rag, and called out, looks like our next victim has arrived. Let's hope it's not as mad as the last one. Jay peeked over, grinning, and said, mad is what we do best. And in that moment, it felt like the truth of Rust Valley rested not in the cars themselves, but in the people willing to wrestle them back from oblivion, each a little mad, each a little brilliant, and all of them bound by a shared obsession that made them laugh, curse, and occasionally cry over the fate of a machine that most people would simply abandon. The day stretched ahead like an open road lined with rusted dreams and gleaming possibilities. Each project promised triumph or disaster, sometimes both in the same breath. The Barracuda seemed to shiver under the weight of their attention, and Michael felt a thrill of anticipation, the kind that only comes when you know that what you're about to do borders on reckless genius. Somewhere in the distance, the hum of engines and the laughter of mechanics carried over the valley, and it felt like the heartbeat of a world where madness was not a flaw but a feature, a necessary ingredient for creation. As they dove back into work, sparks flew, engines roared, and the line between chaos and order blurred further with every turn of a wrench. Here, in Rust Valley, everyone was a little mad, and it was exactly what made the magic happen. The hum of activity in Rust Valley did not wane as the sun rose higher, painting the lot in a harsh, unflinching light that revealed every dent, scratch, and layer of dust that clung stubbornly to the vehicles scattered across the yard. Michael wiped his hands on a rack, squinting at the Barracuda as if reading a map no one else could see. "All right," he said, more to himself than to anyone else, "let's see if we can make this beauty speak a language we understand." Jay, never one to resist theatrics, sauntered over, twirling a wrench in his fingers like a baton. "Speak," he said, mockingly, "I thought we were just trying to prevent it from attacking us." Rebecca rolled her eyes, arranging a set of precision tools on the bench with the meticulousness of someone who treated their instruments as sacred relics. "Attacking us would imply it's capable of thought," she said dryly, "and judging by the wiring, I'm not sure it's capable of anything at all besides spontaneous combustion." Michael grinned, a brief flash of excitement crossing his grease-streaked face. That was what he loved about the chaos of this place, the balance between danger and discovery, between madness and creation. He knelt, tracing the curve of the fender with a gloved hand, listening to the faint creaks of stressed metal. "Every car has a story," he said, almost reverently. "Some scream it at you. Others whisper. This one? It hums in a tone only the patient can hear." Outside, the lot was alive with background noise, the rattle of a loose muffler, the hiss of an air compressor venting, and the occasional shout as someone discovered another surprise that the cars had hidden for decades. The environment itself seemed almost sentient, feeding off the energy of those brave, or foolish, enough to tame the chaos. Jay leaned over the Barracuda, peering into the wheel well and frowning at the tangle of rusted components and forgotten repairs. "You know," he said, "I get that restoring a car is art, but sometimes I think these machines are trying to test our sanity. And honestly, I might be failing." Michael laughed, a short, sharp sound that bounced off the corrugated metal walls of the workshop. "Sanity," he said, "is overrated. Here, it's the madness that keeps us alive. Without a little insanity, who would willingly spend hours coaxing a dead engine to life, or patching a fender that could fall apart at any second?" Rebecca crouched beside them, studying a corroded suspension component with the intensity of a surgeon. "And yet," she said, "it's this very madness that makes us capable of miracles. Or catastrophes. Sometimes both, and sometimes simultaneously." They worked in tandem, a rhythm forged over countless projects, Jay disassembling the more precarious sections with a flourish and occasional curse, Michael diagnosing problems with an intuition that defied explanation, and Rebecca ensuring that every delicate piece found its proper place, as if she were negotiating peace between metal and human hands. Outside, a truck rattled into the lot, announcing the arrival of a new challenge, a vintage Corvette, its paint cheap and dull by years of neglect, its tires flat, and its interior reeking of cigarette smoke and old upholstery. Michael straightened, a spark of recognition lighting his eyes. "Looks like we've got company," he said, nodding toward the newcomer. Jay's grin widened. "Or a new victim," he said. "Either way, it's exciting." The team gathered around the Corvette, inspecting its contours, noting the layers of decay, and already imagining the transformation that awaited it. In Rust Valley, every car was a canvas and every day was a potential masterpiece, or disaster. Hours passed with the relentless clatter of tools, the hiss of compressed air, and the occasional yelp as someone misjudged a stubborn component. The Barracuda was beginning to surrender some of its secrets, exposing hidden damage and forgotten modifications that made the restoration simultaneously thrilling and terrifying. Michael traced the outline of a patch panel, murmuring to himself about structural integrity and aesthetic balance. Jay was elbow-deep in the engine bay, cursing the previous owner's creativity while simultaneously marveling at the ingenuity hidden beneath years of neglect. Rebecca moved with precision, her fingers deftly manipulating fragile parts that seemed on the verge of disintegration. Each step forward was a negotiation with history, with decay, and with the madness that seemed to permeate the very air of Rust Valley. By midday, the team paused, surveying the progress with a mixture of pride, exhaustion, and awe. The Barracuda, once a hulking mess of rust and despair, was beginning to take on the semblance of life, its curves gleaming faintly under layers of clean metal and repaired panels. The Corvette sat nearby, waiting its turn, a silent promise of further challenge and chaos. Michael wiped sweat from his brow, surveying the scene like a general before a critical maneuver. "We are making progress," he said, "but the real test is yet to come. Every time we think we understand these cars, they throw something at us we didn't anticipate." Jay leaned against a workbench, catching his breath, and said, "I think that's the point. If it were easy, it wouldn't be Rust Valley. It would be boring." Rebecca nodded, a faint smile breaking through her usual calm. "Madness is a feature, not a bug," she said. "And somehow, we keep thriving in it." The afternoon brought more surprises. The Barracuda's wiring harness, which had seemed straightforward at first glance, revealed a tangle of non-standard modifications, remnants of previous attempts to tame the beast, and a few dangerously creative improvisations that left Jay muttering colorful interpretations of automotive law. Michael, undeterred, traced each connection with careful patience, his mind mapping out solutions that balanced safety, functionality, and the stubborn personality of the machine itself. Rebecca documented everything, taking photographs, labeling components, and creating a meticulous record that might one day be invaluable, or serve as evidence in the event of catastrophe. Outside, the wind picked up, stirring dust and leaves across the lot, carrying with it the faint metallic scent of aged oil and forgotten machinery. The sounds of the valley shifted, birds cawing nervously, engines idling, and the occasional distant shout as someone wrestled with a recalcitrant piece of metal. It was a living, breathing environment, responding to the human and mechanical energy within it. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows over the lot, Michael stepped back from the Barracuda, wiping his hands and surveying the work done. The car was no longer just a decayed relic, it was a work in progress, a testament to patience, creativity, and the slightly unhinged dedication that defined Rust Valley. Jay leaned on the hood, smirking. "You know," he said, "I think it's smiling at us. Or laughing. Hard to tell. Either way, I like it." Rebecca shook her head, amusement dancing in her eyes. "It's not smiling, Jay. It's just alive enough to be dangerous. And somehow, we're the ones who are going to survive it." Michael nodded, a sense of satisfaction mingled with anticipation settling over him. "Tomorrow," he said, "we push further. Strip it down, rebuild it, coax it back to life. And we do it with the same kind of madness that brought us this far. Because without a little insanity, none of this would even exist." The team cleaned their work area, stowing tools, and covering the vehicles as the sky shifted to amber and rose with the setting sun. Rust Valley seemed to breathe a sigh of contentment, or perhaps it was merely the calm before the inevitable chaos of the next day. In that golden light, surrounded by cars in various stages of revival, Michael, Jay, and Rebecca shared a quiet understanding. They were not just restoring vehicles, they were engaging in an intricate dance with history, decay, and their own brand of control madness. And as the shadows lengthened and the first stars appeared in the evening sky, it was clear that in Rust Valley, the line between genius and insanity was not just blurred, it was celebrated. The Barracuda sat in the center of it all, battered yet defiant, a monument to persistence, vision, and the slight madness that made the valley come alive. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new frustrations, and new moments of triumph, but for now, there was a sense of quiet victory, a pause in the relentless rhythm of creation and chaos. And somewhere in the distance, the faint echo of engines, laughter, and the ever-present scent of oil and rust reminded them all that they were exactly where they were meant to be, in a place where a little madness was not just tolerated, but essential, and where every restored car was a testament to the beauty found in the improbable, the decayed, and the wildly ambitious. The morning air in Rust Valley carried the sharp scent of ozone from sparks and the lingering aroma of motor oil, as if the world itself had been infused with the essence of the machines that inhabited it. Michael arrived first, keys jangling in his pocket, eyes scanning the lot with a practiced precision that made him look both tired and ecstatic at the same time, a paradox that only the daily dance with rust and engines could create. The Barracuda sat in its usual place, covered in dust but somehow commanding the center of attention, its once menacing curves now softened under layers of sanded primer and the faint glimmer of polished metal. Jay appeared moments later, carrying a thermos that had seen better days, and a bag of mismatched tools that rattled ominously as he strode across the lot. "Morning," he said, tipping the thermos toward Michael in a half-hearted salute. "Ready to wrestle the devil today?" Michael smirked, shaking his head. "More like coax it into cooperation. Wrestling implies someone is actually trying to lose. These cars are never that polite." Rebecca arrived quietly, her presence almost ghost-like in the chaotic symphony of the workshop. She carried a notebook, pens, and a precise air that seemed to anchor the surrounding madness. "I see we're already negotiating with the Barracuda," she said, voice calm but with an undercurrent of amusement. "How cooperative is it being today?" Michael crouched beside the wheel well, inspecting the freshly cleaned suspension. "It's silent for now, which I take as a sign of caution rather than obedience. Silent cars are dangerous." Jay crouched next to him, peering into the tangle of wires that resembled spaghetti tossed into a blender and then frozen in time. "I swear," he muttered, "if one more previous owner decided to invent a new way to cross-wire the ignition, I'll start charging it rent." Rebecca chuckled softly, kneeling beside them, and began labeling wires, taking notes in her meticulous script. "Each wire tells a story," she said, "and some of them are more fiction than fact." Michael traced the curve of the wheel arch, tapping lightly with a gloved knuckle. "The stories are what make them alive. Or at least what makes us keep coming back, day after day, willing to fight through the chaos." Outside, the valley was waking fully to the day's potential. Birds flitted through the rusted signs, and a gentle breeze stirred dust motes into shimmering columns in the sunlight. Somewhere beyond the lot, an old tractor coughed and coughed again before reluctantly starting, as if even machines needed to wake themselves up slowly. The team worked in synchronized chaos, each movement precise yet imbued with the reckless creativity that defined Rust Valley. Jay removed stubborn bolts with an exaggerated flair, occasionally cursing the ingenuity of previous repairs that had turned simple tasks into puzzles of frustration. Michael methodically assessed every panel, weld, and engine component, mentally cataloging problems and envisioning solutions that were part logic, part instinct, and part sheer audacity. Rebecca documented the process, snapping photographs, labeling everything, and creating a living archive of the Barracuda's resurrection, ensuring that their work could be replicated, or dissected, long after the day was done. Hours passed in this focused frenzy. The Barracuda began to reveal new secrets, a hidden rust bubble beneath the rear fender that threatened structural integrity, a throttle linkage that had been jury-rigged in ways that defied both reason and safety, and an electrical system that seemed to mock any attempt at organization. Each revelation brought equal measures of frustration and exhilaration. "This car is like a puzzle," Jay said at one point, stepping back, wiping sweat and grease from his brow. "Except every piece is either lying or has been chewed by a rat." Michael laughed, the sound carrying across the lot like a spark of energy, rebounding off metal and dust. "And yet, when it all fits together, It's beautiful. That's why we're here. The chaos is part of the reward. Rebecca nodded, delicately adjusting a bolt with a torque wrench. I've always believed that restoration isn't just mechanical. It's psychological. We tame the car, but it tames us, too. By mid-afternoon, the Barracuda had been stripped down to its bones, revealing a skeleton of rust, history, and forgotten ingenuity. Michael stood back, surveying the naked frame, feeling both pride and apprehension. It's fragile, he said, voice low, almost reverent. But it's honest now. No masks, no false pretenses. Just the truth of what it is and what it can become. Jay leaned against a nearby workbench, smirking. I like honesty. Honesty doesn't bite, unlike some parts of this car. Rebecca smiled faintly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Honesty requires patience. And sometimes, a little bit of madness. Michael nodded, turning toward the newly arrived Corvette, its sleek lines marked by years of neglect but still whispering of speed, elegance, and potential. Next challenge, he murmured, a gleam in his eye. And this one has attitude. Jay's grin widened, bordering on manic. Attitude is my specialty. Bring it on. The trio moved to the Corvette, examining dents, corrosion, and the complex layers of paint that had faded unevenly under the sun. Each vehicle carried the weight of its past, secrets etched into metal and upholstery, and the team treated each discovery with a mix of awe, fear, and determination. Time became a blurred concept as they worked, the outside world fading into insignificance. Engines roared to life briefly, panels were sanded and fitted, wires traced and corrected, and every so often, a triumphant shout broke the rhythm as a particularly stubborn component finally obeyed their combined efforts. As the sun began its slow descent, Michael stepped back from the Corvette, surveying both the Barracuda and its new neighbor. Progress, he said, but not perfection. Not yet. That comes with patience, persistence, and a touch of insanity. Jay wiped his hands, smudged with grease, and said, I think we've got plenty of all three. Rebecca nodded, documenting the day's work, capturing the chaotic beauty of machines slowly returning to life. It's in the details, she said softly. The small victories are what create the larger triumphs. Evening fell over Rust Valley, painting the lot in soft amber and long shadows. The soundscape shifted as engines cooled, birds quieted, and the breeze carried the scent of oil, metal, and earth. The Barracuda sat in the center, partially restored, a testament to patience, creativity, and the slightly unhinged dedication of those willing to wrestle it from oblivion. The Corvette gleamed faintly under the waning light, a promise of future challenges and triumphs. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca stood together, surveying their work, feeling the pulse of Rust Valley beneath their feet. They were surrounded by chaos, noise, and the scent of industry, but within it all, there was a strange serenity, a recognition that their madness was purposeful, creative, and alive. Tomorrow, Michael said finally, we push further. Tear down what remains, rebuild it, and coax these machines into life. And we do it knowing that the line between genius and insanity is delightfully thin. Jay grinned. Thin lines are my favorite. Especially when they involve engines. Rebecca smiled, a mixture of affection and exasperation in her gaze. Just don't cut yourself on it. And so, as darkness settled over Rust Valley, the cars rested in their temporary slumber, and the team prepared for another day of chaos, creation, and control madness. The Barracuda and Corvette, like all machines here, carried not just metal and oil, but the stories of those who dared to restore them, to challenge them, and to embrace the beautiful insanity that came with bringing forgotten dreams back to life. Somewhere in the Distance, an engine coughed, a tool dropped, and laughter echoed across the lot. The heartbeat of Russ Valley thrummed on, relentless, chaotic, and utterly alive. And in that moment, it was undeniable, in this place, everyone was a little mad, and it was exactly what made them extraordinary. The sun disappeared behind distant hills, leaving a soft twilight that seemed almost reverent. Shadows stretched across the lot, draping the vehicles in mystery and promise. Michael looked out across the chaos, feeling a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. The Barracuda's frame, stripped bare, looked like a skeleton awaiting a heartbeat, yet there was life in every joint, every weld, and every freshly polished surface. Jay leaned against the hood of a workbench, wiping his hands, eyes glinting with the thrill of imminent triumphs and predictable disasters. Rebecca methodically documented the progress, her notes meticulous yet alive with the energy of observation, capturing not just the mechanics but the essence of Russ Valley itself. The valley held a certain magic, a blend of obsession, madness, and meticulous care that transformed rust and decay into stories, art, and renewed life. And for those who lived in its rhythm, the distinction between the two, madness and method, was irrelevant. The Barracuda, once a symbol of abandonment, now stood as a testament to the power of human ingenuity, patience, and a touch of insanity. The Corvette waited in silent anticipation, promising future challenges and new lessons in resilience. Together, cars and humans coexisted in a delicate balance, a choreography of chaos and creation that was as unpredictable as it was exhilarating. Night settled fully over Russ Valley, the stars beginning to emerge like tiny points of light over the horizon. The air was thick with the lingering scent of motor oil, burnt rubber, and the subtle promise of adventure. The team gathered briefly to review the day, their laughter mingling with the soft sounds of settling machinery. They were exhausted, yet energized by progress, their hearts beating in sync with the rhythm of the valley, the machines, and the madness that defined their world. And as they left the lot, shadows stretching long behind them, the promise of tomorrow loomed bright and electric. The Barracuda and Corvette, alongside countless others scattered across Russ Valley, seemed to breathe in the quiet night, awaiting the hands, minds, and madness that would bring them fully to life. In this place, the line between reality and obsession blurred, and for those willing to embrace it, life, messy, chaotic, and slightly insane, was a masterpiece waiting to unfold. In Russ Valley, being a little mad wasn't a flaw, it was a prerequisite, and it was exactly what made every restored car, every day, and every human heartbeat within it extraordinary. The valley rested, but not silently. Engines whispered, metal sighed, and the promise of chaos and creation lingered in the cool night air, a reminder that tomorrow, the dance would begin anew, and the beautiful, slightly insane symphony of Russ Valley would continue to play. Morning arrived over Russ Valley like an electric jolt, illuminating the workshop with a stark clarity that made every scratch, dent, and streak of grease visible in unflinching detail. Michael strode in first, a cup of Scotch coffee in one hand and a rag in the other, the rag streaked with yesterday's labor, carrying the smell of oil, metal, and the faint perfume of ambition. The Barracuda sat in its half-dismantled glory, now stripped to a frame that was both fragile and promising, gleaming faintly under the morning sun despite its scars. Jay followed, carrying a toolbox that rattled ominously, spilling small metal pieces that clinked against the concrete floor as if warning of the chaos to come. "Morning, mad scientists," he said, voice carrying that teasing tone that suggested both challenge and warning. "Ready to flirt with disaster today?" Michael smirked, brushing a smear of grease from his forehead. "Flirting is the right word. But remember, the Barracuda isn't polite about advances." Rebecca arrived shortly after, notebook in hand, her presence calm and deliberate amid the storm of activity. "If we're dancing with chaos, let's at least record the steps," she said, placing her notebook on a nearby workbench with precision. Somebody has to remember what we're doing before it becomes pure madness. Michael crouched beside the strip frame, tracing the curve of the chassis, tapping gently with a gloved hand. This car, he said, is like a living puzzle. Every bolt, every wire, every dent tells a story, and some of those stories are angry. Jay crouched across from him, elbow deep in a rusted suspension assembly. Angry stories are my favorite, he said, his screen widening. Especially when they involve bolts that don't want to cooperate. Rebecca began photographing the frame, labeling sections, and taking detailed notes. Documentation is sanity, she said, though her eyes gleamed with anticipation. Without it, all this would just be chaos masquerading as progress. The team worked in a rhythm that was both chaotic and precise. Jay dismantled stubborn components with flair and frequent muttering, Michael diagnosed structural weaknesses and potential pitfalls, and Rebecca orchestrated the documentation like a conductor keeping score of a symphony composed entirely of metal, oil, and madness. Outside, the valley was alive with ambient noise, the distant roar of engines starting, birds flitting between rusted signs, and the occasional gust of wind that scattered papers and roused dust clouds from the lot. The Barracuda's frame began to reveal new secrets, corrosion hidden deep in joints, remnants of previous repairs that had failed spectacularly, and evidence of modifications that defied conventional logic. Michael traced each discovery with careful hands, balancing the need for restoration with the respect for the vehicle's history. Jay grunted and wiped sweat from his brow. You know, I think half of the fun here is just surviving the car's attitude, he muttered, peering at a misaligned suspension component that seemed to mock his every attempt at correction. Rebecca moved with deliberate grace, checking measurements, verifying alignments, and labeling every wire and part. Attitude is fine, she said softly, as long as it doesn't break something critical. And if it does, we document the carnage for future generations. As the sun climbed higher, Michael stepped back to assess the Barracuda. We are making progress, he said. But this is just the foundation. The next steps will test both patience and sanity. Jay leaned against a workbench, surveying the stripped frame. Sanity, he echoed. I think we left that behind weeks ago. But progress is progress. Rebecca smiled faintly, adjusting a component with delicate precision. Sanity is a luxury here, she said. And madness is a tool. Don't underestimate its usefulness. The trio moved on to the Corvette, which had arrived a day earlier, its sleek lines dull by neglect but still brimming with potential. Michael ran a hand along the faded paint, noting every chip and scratch. This one, he said, has attitude. But unlike the Barracuda, it's the kind of challenge that rewards cleverness. Jay's grin widened. Cleverness is my specialty. Let's see if it can keep up. Rebecca began taking measurements, her fingers deftly moving across the surfaces, recording every contour, every imperfection. Preparation, she said, is the bridge between madness and success. The day's work unfolded in a rhythm that was as exhausting as it was exhilarating. The Barracuda revealed hidden corrosion, damaged welds, and electrical components that seemed to have been arranged by someone with an abstract understanding of engineering, or perhaps no understanding at all. Jay dismantled sections with theatrical flair, occasionally muttering expletives that punctuated the rhythm of labor, while Michael traced structural weaknesses and plotted repairs with the precision of a surgeon. Rebecca documented everything, her meticulous attention to detail ensuring that even the smallest discovery would be recorded for future reference, or future frustration. By mid-afternoon, the Barracuda had been stripped to its bare essentials, and the Corvette had begun revealing its own secrets, a stubborn brake system, electrical quirks that refused easy diagnosis, and subtle frame damage that would require both patience and ingenuity. Michael wiped his hands and surveyed the scene. We're not just restoring cars, he said. We're engaging in a dialogue with history, engineering, and a bit of madness. And every time we do this, it teaches us something new. Jay chuckled, leaning on a workbench. Yeah, like how to curse creatively and survive punctured fingers. Rebecca adjusted a wire harness with surgical precision. It also teaches patience, she said softly. And respect, for the machines and for ourselves. Outside, the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the lot and bathing the vehicles in golden light. The Barracuda, stripped bare, looked almost skeletal, yet full of potential energy, like a predator waiting to awaken. The Corvette gleamed faintly under layers of dust and neglected polish, its lines hinting at the power that had once been harnessed within its frame. Michael stepped back, taking in the day's work, feeling a mixture of satisfaction and anticipation. Tomorrow, he said, we dive deeper. Rebuild, restore, and coax life back into these machines. And we do it knowing that the line between genius and madness is almost invisible here. Jay grinned. Invisible lines are the best ones. Especially when they involve engines, sparks, and occasional chaos. Rebecca smiled, documenting the progress and adding notes with meticulous care. And with every bolt, every wire, every panel, we learn a little more about patience, creativity, and controlled insanity. As the evening settled over Rust Valley, the lot seemed to exhale, settling into a quiet rhythm that belied the chaos of the day. Engines cooled, tools were stowed, and the team paused to appreciate the progress, however fragile or incomplete. The Barracuda rested in its skeletal glory, a testament to the team's dedication, creativity, and willingness to embrace a touch of madness. The Corvette sat nearby, silently promising future challenges and triumphs. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca shared a quiet moment, standing amid the lingering scent of oil, metal, and ambition. In Rust Valley, madness was not a flaw, it was a necessity. And in that necessity, they found both purpose and exhilaration, pushing themselves, the cars, and the very concept of restoration to new heights. Night fell fully, painting the valley in deep blues and purples. Stars emerged one by one, glimmering like tiny beacons over the horizon, while shadows stretched across the lot, wrapping the vehicles in a soft, mysterious glow. Engines whispered in their sleep, metal creaked softly, and the promise of tomorrow hummed quietly in the air. The Barracuda and Corvette, like all the cars in Rust Valley, carried not just metal and oil, but stories, dreams, and the slightly insane devotion of those who dared to restore them. And as the team left for the night, fatigue mingling with excitement, the valley seemed to pulse with life, a living testament to the strange, beautiful, chaotic magic of machinery and madness. Rust Valley had its rhythm, its heartbeat, and its madness, and those who embraced it, who allowed themselves to be a little mad, found themselves not just restoring cars, but creating a symphony of chaos, precision, and ambition. The day had been long, exhausting, and exhilarating. But the Barracuda and Corvette waited, silent yet brimming with potential, ready to test the limits of patience, creativity, and controlled insanity once more. Tomorrow would bring new discoveries, new frustrations, and new triumphs, and the team would dive back into the chaos with enthusiasm, skill, and a touch of reckless genius. In Rust Valley, being a little mad wasn't a flaw, it was a way of life. And in that life, every restored car, every triumph over decay, and every carefully recorded mistake became part of a legacy of creativity, persistence, and beautiful insanity. The morning light in Rust Valley filtered through the workshop's dusty windows, scattering across scattered tools and partially disassembled vehicles in a kaleidoscope of grit and ambition. Michael arrived first, keys jangling in his pocket, already planning the day's strategy in his mind. He paused at the Barracuda, running a gloved hand along the stripped frame, feeling the faint tremor of potential beneath the bare metal. Every day, he murmured, it becomes less a car and more a challenge to our patience and skill. Jay rolled in moments later, humming a tune that sounded suspiciously like a mocking serenade to the Barracuda's stubbornness. He carried a toolbox that rattled ominously as he strode across the lot, spilling a few small nuts and bolts onto the floor. Morning, genius, and chaos, he said, smirking. Ready to tempt disaster again? Michael raised an eyebrow. Tempt? I think we've passed that stage. Now we wrestle, negotiate, and occasionally plead for mercy. Rebecca arrived quietly, notebook and pen in hand, moving like a calm eye in the storm of mechanical energy. If chaos is the rule, then documentation is the law, she said, placing her notebook on the bench and opening it to a fresh page. Let's see if today's madness can be tamed. Michael crouched beside the Barracuda, inspecting the welds that had been repaired the day before. It's honest now, he said. No hidden panels, no surprises, well, mostly. I'm sure it will offer some today. Jay leaned over the frame, inspecting the suspension with exaggerated suspicion. Honesty doesn't stop bolts from snapping or wires from sparking, he said. I think the car is testing us. Rebecca began photographing the components, labeling wires and small parts with meticulous care. Testing or not, she said, we are documenting everything. That way, when disaster strikes, we can prove it wasn't entirely our fault. The trio fell into the familiar rhythm of chaos and precision. Jay dismantled stubborn components with theatrical flair, occasionally muttering expletives that punctuated the rhythm of labor. Michael traced structural weaknesses and envisioned repairs that balanced safety, functionality, and the Barracuda's unpredictable personality. Rebecca documented every step, ensuring that the process was both recordable and understandable, a guide for future work or future catastrophe. Outside, Rust Valley came alive with ambient noise, the distant roar of engines, the soft call of birds, and the occasional gust of wind stirring dust into dancing columns that caught the morning sun. Each sound blended into the symphony of creation and madness that defined the workshop. By late morning, the Barracuda had revealed new challenges, hidden corrosion in critical areas, a throttle linkage modified in a bizarre, almost artistic way, and electrical systems that defied conventional logic. Michael methodically traced each problem, formulating strategies that balance repair with respect for the vehicle's history. Jay muttered about the ingenuity and the lunacy of previous owners, his hands smudged with oil and sweat. Rebecca adjusted a delicate component, her fingers steady despite the chaos around her. Madness is manageable, she said softly, when you combine precision and patience. Outside, the valley seemed almost alive, responding to the energy of the humans and machines within it. The wind carried the scent of rust and oil, stirring leaves and dust, while a distant tractor coughed into life, as if waking reluctantly from slumber. Michael stepped back to survey the progress, noting the Barracuda's skeletal form and the Corvette's sleek, neglected curves. The foundation is solid, he said, but the true test comes when we breathe life back into these machines. Jay grinned. Life or chaos, either way, it's entertaining. Rebecca smiled faintly. And instructive. Each challenge teaches us something, not just about cars, but about ourselves. The afternoon brought further revelations. Hidden bolts resisted removal, previously repaired welds crumbled under inspection, and wires that had seemed organized proved otherwise, demanding careful attention. Michael and Jay collaborated in a delicate dance, negotiating with rust, metal, and ingenuity, while Rebecca ensured that every step was documented meticulously. By mid-afternoon, the Barracuda had been stripped bare, exposing a framework that was fragile yet full of promise. The Corvette had begun to reveal its own personality, a stubborn brake system, electrical quirks, and subtle structural imperfections that would require ingenuity to correct. Michael wiped his hands, surveying both cars with a mix of satisfaction and apprehension. "We're not just restoring vehicles," he said. "We're engaging in a dialogue with history, engineering, and our own tolerance for controlled insanity." Jay chuckled. "Control? I'm pretty sure we left that behind weeks ago." Rebecca adjusted a component with meticulous care. "Madness is our tool," she said. "Without it, none of this would exist." As the sun began to dip behind the hills, casting long shadows across Rust Valley, the team paused to take stock. The Barracuda, stripped to its bare frame, stood like a testament to patience and vision. The Corvette gleamed faintly under layers of neglect and partial restoration, its promise apparent even through dust and wear. Michael stepped back, feeling a thrill of anticipation mingled with exhaustion. "Tomorrow," he said, "we dive deeper. Rebuild, restore, coax life from metal and history. And we do it knowing that the line between genius and insanity is almost invisible here." Jay's grin widened. "Invisible lines are the best. Especially when engines, sparks, and chaos are involved." Rebecca smiled, jotting down notes and photographs. "And with every bolt, wire, and panel, we learn patience, creativity, and how to embrace controlled insanity." Night fell fully over Rust Valley, painting the lot in soft blues and purples. The vehicles rested, engines cool, and tools stowed, while the valley itself seemed to exhale, settling into a quiet rhythm that belied the chaos of the day. The Barracuda and Corvette waited silently, filled with the potential of tomorrow's trials, ready to test the limits of patience, skill, and control madness. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca stood together, sharing a quiet recognition. Rust Valley thrived on a delicate balance of chaos and creation, and those who embraced it, who allowed themselves to be a little mad, found themselves restoring more than cars. They restored stories, ambition, and the impossible. The scent of oil and metal lingered in the cool night air, mingling with the faint promise of adventure. In Rust Valley, madness was not a flaw, but a necessity, and in that necessity, each restored car became a symphony of chaos, precision, and daring creativity. The Barracuda and Corvette rested in anticipation, silent yet alive with potential, ready to test their restorers once more. Tomorrow, the work would continue, new challenges, new discoveries, and new triumphs awaited in the sun-drenched chaos of Rust Valley. And as the stars emerged above, glittering like distant sparks over the horizon, the heartbeat of the valley pulsed on, relentless, chaotic, and utterly alive. In this world, a little madness wasn't a hindrance, it was a requirement. And those willing to embrace it, to harness it, and to dance with it, found themselves not just restoring cars, but participating in a living, breathing testament to the beauty of chaos, creativity, and the unyielding human spirit. The morning sun in Rust Valley filtered through the corrugated windows of the workshop, scattering shafts of light that illuminated every speck of dust and every gleam of polished metal, casting a spotlight on the chaos that the team thrived in. Michael arrived first, carrying a half-empty cup of coffee and the lingering smell of yesterday's grease, a sense of anticipation and apprehension flickering across his face. The Barracuda rested in its skeletal form, the bare frame revealing both vulnerability and potential, every curve and joint screaming for attention. "It's alive," he muttered under his breath, "not in the way we dream, but alive enough to demand respect." Jay appeared moments later, toolbox in hand, humming a tune that sounded suspiciously like a sarcastic anthem to the Barracuda's obstinacy. "Morning, genius," he called, letting a few loose screws clatter to the floor as he walked. "Ready to negotiate with stubborn metal and questionable wiring?" Michael shook his head, smirking. "Negotiate? No, today we coerce, cajole, and occasionally beg. But mostly we coerce. Rebecca arrived silently, notebook and camera in hand, her calm presence a stabilizing force amidst the storm of mechanical chaos. If madness is the medium, she said, then documentation is our brush. Let's paint carefully today. The team fell into their familiar rhythm, each movement deliberate yet infused with the reckless creativity that defined Rust Valley. Jay dismantled the stubborn suspension assembly with theatrical flair, muttering under his breath about previous owners' inventive yet catastrophic modifications. Michael meticulously inspected structural weaknesses, planning welds and reinforcements that balanced strength with historical authenticity. Rebecca documented each step, capturing not only measurements but the chaotic poetry of restoration, a drip of oil, a spark from the grinder, the clink of metal against metal, all forming a symphony that only those initiated could truly appreciate. Outside, the valley responded to their energy, alive with the hum of distant engines, the calls of birds flitting between rusted signs, and a gentle breeze carrying dust motes that dance in shafts of sunlight. The Barracuda began revealing more of its secrets, hidden corrosion beneath layers of patched metal, a throttle linkage modified in baffling ways, and electrical connections that seemed purposefully confusing. Michael traced each discovery with deliberate care, planning solutions that respected both the vehicle's history and the demands of restoration. Jay shook his head, muttering, "I swear, some of these people deserve awards for creativity, and jail for execution." Rebecca, adjusting a delicate component, smiled faintly. "Control madness," she said softly. "Without it, we never solve these puzzles." As the hours passed, progress unfolded in a delicate balance of triumph and frustration. The Barracuda's frame, though skeletal, began to take on the character of its former self, revealing lines and curves that hinted at speed, power, and defiance. The Corvette, gleaming faintly under a thin layer of dust, began to expose challenges of its own, brake systems stubbornly refusing to align, electrical quirks that required ingenuity, and subtle frame imperfections that tested both patience and skill. Michael wiped his hands and stepped back, surveying the work. "We're not just restoring cars," he said. "We're conversing with history, engineering, and a little bit of insanity. Each challenge teaches us more than just how to fix metal, it teaches us about precision, patience, and the beauty of chaos." Jay chuckled, leaning on the workbench. "Chaos is my specialty," he said. "And apparently, it's generous with rewards." Rebecca, documenting the progress, adjusted wires and components with surgical precision. "Madness," she said, "is our tool. And when wielded correctly, it creates order from disorder." Mid-afternoon brought a surprise. A client's vehicle arrived unexpectedly, a vintage Mustang, gleaming despite its age, demanding immediate attention. Michael approached it, eyes narrowing as he assessed its condition. "Another challenge," he said, a spark of excitement igniting. "And it's a beauty, but no beauty comes without trouble." Jay's grin widened. "Trouble is my favorite form of art," he said, letting the toolbox drop with a metallic clatter. Rebecca opened her notebook, already plotting measurements, documenting the initial assessment, and anticipating the complications that were bound to arise. "Preparation," she said, "is the bridge between madness and mastery." The team moved between the Barracuda, the Corvette, and now the Mustang, each demanding attention, each requiring a different approach, yet all bound together by the same principles: precision, creativity, and just the right amount of control insanity. The day blurred into a rhythm of movement, clinking tools, sparks from grinders, and the low hum of engines being coaxed awake. Michael orchestrated repairs and modifications, his mind balancing technical expertise with intuition honed from years of experience. Jay tackled stubborn components, using both skill and brute force where appropriate, his hands smeared with grease but his spirit undeterred. Rebecca meticulously documented every step, ensuring that even amidst chaos, there was clarity, a record of triumphs, failures, and the creative madness that powered each restoration. By late afternoon, the Barracuda had revealed its final secrets: a hidden rust patch that required delicate welding, a throttle linkage in need of adjustment, and wiring that demanded careful rerouting. The Corvette, meanwhile, had begun to show signs of renewed life, brakes aligned, electrical quirks tamed, and subtle frame damage reinforced. The Mustang, fresh on the lot, waited silently, a challenge yet to be fully understood. Michael surveyed the scene, a mixture of pride, exhaustion, and anticipation washing over him. Progress, he said, but the real test is coming tomorrow. That's when these cars speak their truths, and we listen, or at least try to. Jay wiped his hands and grinned. Truth or chaos, either way, it's entertaining. Rebecca adjusted her camera, capturing the light reflecting off the polished metal, the shadows of tools, and the faint glimmer of potential. Each detail matters, she said softly. Small victories build the larger triumphs. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across Rust Valley, the team paused to take stock of their day. The Barracuda, stripped to its frame, gleamed with potential and defiance. The Corvette, partially restored, hinted at speed and elegance once more. The Mustang sat patiently, demanding future ingenuity and careful attention. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca shared a quiet recognition: Rust Valley was alive not just with machines but with the energy, ambition, and control madness of those willing to engage with it fully. Engines cooled, tools were stored, and the valley seemed to settle into a quiet rhythm, a brief interlude before the next day's trials. The Barracuda and Corvette rested in their skeletal glories, silent but pulsing with possibility. Michael, surveying them, felt the thrill of anticipation mingled with exhaustion. Tomorrow, he said, we rebuild, restore, and breathe life into these machines. And we do it knowing that madness is both our tool and our guide. Jay's grin widened. I live for that madness, he said. Rebecca smiled, documenting the progress, her calm energy grounding the chaos around her. And with every bolt, wire, and panel, we create more than restored cars. We create stories, triumphs, and lessons in patience, creativity, and courage. Night descended fully, painting Rust Valley in deep purples and soft blues. Stars emerged, twinkling above, reflecting faintly off polished metal surfaces. Engines rested, tools were stowed, and the scent of oil, metal, and ambition lingered in the cool night air. Rust Valley pulsed quietly with life, chaos, and potential, a testament to the delicate dance between madness and mastery. Tomorrow, the team would return to face new challenges, coaxing life from machines that had once been forgotten. In Rust Valley, being a little mad wasn't just a choice, it was a requirement. And in that requirement lay the joy, triumph, and beauty of restoring not just cars, but the improbable dreams embedded within every frame, every wire, and every spark. The dawn in Rust Valley arrived with a gentle haze, the sunlight slicing through the morning mist to touch every corner of the lot in gold and silver streaks. Michael walked in first, the faint scent of coffee clinging to his clothes, eyes scanning the vehicles as though reading the whispers of their hidden histories. The Barracuda, skeletal yet full of potential, sat in the center of the lot, each exposed well and stripped panel a testament to both decay and possibility. You can almost hear them thinking, he murmured, kneeling beside the fender. Not in words, but in tension, in creaks, in the weight of years. Jay arrived next, carrying a weathered toolbox that rattled like a percussion section announcing his entrance. He twirled a wrench in his fingers, smirking. Morning, maestro. Ready to dance with destiny? Michael smirked. Destiny has sharp edges and likes to bite. But we'll try to lead. Rebecca arrived silently, her notebook open, camera slung around her neck. Her calm presence seemed to momentarily anchor the surrounding chaos. Chaos is predictable only in its unpredictability, she said, settling beside the workbench. Let's observe carefully before we engage. The trio dove into work immediately. Jay attacked the stubborn suspension, the bolts resisting like ancient guardians, each snap and click punctuated with colorful commentary. Michael moved between engine bay and chassis, inspecting every joint, evaluating rust, and planning reinforcement strategies that would preserve the Barracuda's character while restoring its structural integrity. Rebecca moved with careful precision, photographing, labeling, and cataloging every piece, ensuring that the documentation reflected both mechanical reality and the unpredictable energy of the restoration. Outside, the valley hummed with life, the distant roar of a tractor, birds flitting among rusted signs, and the gentle rustle of leaves stirred by the morning breeze. Every sound felt like a counterpoint to the symphony of metal, oil, and human ingenuity within the lot. By mid-morning, the Barracuda had revealed new secrets: corroded braces hidden beneath the floor panels, non-standard wiring twists that defied logic, and custom modifications that hinted at previous owners' bold, if reckless, visions. Michael studied each discovery with reverent care, balancing engineering precision with intuition honed from countless hours of coaxing life from long-dead machines. Jay muttered, occasionally dramatically, about the audacity of previous owners, as he wrestled with metal that seemed intent on remaining untouched. Rebecca adjusted a delicate linkage, speaking softly to herself as she recorded the measurements and angles. "Control madness," she whispered. "It is what allows order to emerge from chaos." The afternoon brought both triumph and challenge. The Barracuda's skeletal frame began to show signs of structural integrity restored, with new welds reinforcing old weaknesses and freshly cleaned components revealing the original craftsmanship. Meanwhile, the Corvette exhibited quirks of its own, brakes that refused to align until approached with patience, wiring that required creative rerouting, and subtle frame imperfections demanding precise correction. Michael wiped sweat from his brow, surveying the scene. "Restoration is a conversation," he said, "between the past, the present, and the skill we bring. Every car speaks differently, but the language is always there." Jay laughed, wiping grease-streaked hands on his rag. "And sometimes it's a swear word in every tongue." Rebecca documented each adjustment, her meticulous care capturing the subtle triumphs and tiny frustrations that collectively defined the process. "Documentation," she said softly, "is how we preserve the story of progress, mistakes, and ingenuity." By late afternoon, the Barracuda had been stripped to its essentials, revealing vulnerabilities that required both patience and creativity. The Corvette, partially restored, gleamed faintly under layers of dust and sun, hinting at power and elegance once more. The Mustang, parked nearby after its unexpected arrival, sat silently, waiting to reveal its own set of challenges. Michael stepped back, surveying the lot with a mixture of satisfaction and anticipation. "Tomorrow," he said, "we rebuild. We restore. We coax life back into these machines. And we do it knowing that the margin between genius and madness is razor-thin here." Jay leaned against a workbench, grinning. "Thin lines are my specialty, especially when they involve engines, sparks, and occasional catastrophe." Rebecca smiled faintly, capturing the light as it played across panels and shadows. "And with every bolt, wire, and panel, we learn patience, creativity, and the value of controlled chaos." As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over the valley, the team paused, reflecting on the day's accomplishments. The Barracuda, skeletal and honest, radiated promise and defiance. The Corvette, partially restored, hinted at speed, precision, and elegance. The Mustang, untouched by the day's efforts, represented the future, full of challenges yet to be confronted. Engines cooled, tools were stored, and the valley settled into a calm rhythm, a brief interlude before the next day's chaos. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca shared a quiet acknowledgement. Russ Valley thrived not just on metal and oil, but on the energy, dedication, and control madness of those willing to engage fully. The scent of oil and metal lingered in the cool evening air, mingling with the faint promise of discovery and triumph. In Russ Valley, being a little mad wasn't a flaw, it was a necessity. And in that necessity, each restored car became a story, a lesson, and a testament to the delicate dance between chaos and mastery. Night descended fully, painting the valley in deep blues and muted purples. Stars emerged, glimmering above like distant sparks over a sea of possibilities. Engines rested, vehicles exhaled, and the promise of tomorrow's challenges hummed quietly in the air. The Barracuda and Corvette rested in anticipation, ready to test the skill, patience, and control insanity of their restorers. Michael surveyed the scene one last time before leaving, a thrill of anticipation mingled with exhaustion coursing through him. Tomorrow, he said, the dance continues. New problems, new triumphs, new lessons in patience and madness. Jay grinned, wiping his hands and adjusting his toolbox. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Rebecca closed her notebook, her calm demeanor hiding the same excitement coursing through the team. In every bolt, every wire, every panel, she said softly, we are shaping not just machines, but stories, triumphs, and lessons in controlled chaos. Russ Valley pulsed quietly under the night sky, alive with potential, energy, and the promise of discovery. Cars, human hands, and the delicate madness that connected them thrummed in unison, a living symphony of metal, oil, and creativity. And as darkness fully claimed the valley, the Barracuda, Corvette, and Mustang waited silently, ready to awaken under the skilled, slightly unhinged hands of those who embraced the beautiful madness of Russ Valley. In this world, being a little mad wasn't just acceptable, it was essential. And those who embraced it found themselves not merely restoring cars, but orchestrating a symphony of chaos, skill, and imagination that echoed far beyond the lot itself, leaving a legacy in every polished panel, welded joint, and revived engine. Russ Valley was alive. And so were they. The morning arrived over Russ Valley like a slow awakening, light spilling across the lot in gentle streams that highlighted the scratches, dents, and polished metal of vehicles in various stages of resurrection. Michael was the first to arrive, carrying a thermos of coffee and the familiar mixture of anticipation and anxiety that came with facing the Barracuda's skeletal frame. Every time I see it like this, he murmured, running his gloved hand along a stripped fender, I feel equal parts fear and excitement. It's like staring into the heart of chaos itself. Jay rolled in a few minutes later, the toolbox in his hand clattering with a symphony of loose bolts, wrenches, and metal parts. Morning, orchestrator of madness, he called, spinning a wrench between his fingers. Ready to argue with metal, electricity, and stubborn screws? Michael smirked, brushing a streak of grease from his forehead. Argue is putting it mildly. Today we negotiate, cajole, and occasionally flatter. Rebecca arrived quietly, notebook in hand, her presence calm yet focused. Madness, she said, setting the notebook down on a bench, requires careful observation. Let's see what lessons these machines have for us today. The team settled into their familiar rhythm, a delicate balance of chaos, creativity, and meticulous attention. Jay wrestled with the stubborn suspension, muttering theatrically as bolts refused to budge, while Michael analyzed structural weaknesses, envisioning welds and reinforcements that balance historical integrity with safety. Rebecca meticulously documented every step, photographing, labeling, and recording measurements with precision, ensuring the day's labor would be both reproducible and comprehensible despite the chaos surrounding them. Outside, Russ Valley was alive with ambient noise, the distant roar of engines, the chirping of birds, and the occasional gust of wind that stirred dust into swirling, shimmering columns. Each sound became a note in the symphony of labor, chaos, and creation that defined the lot. By mid-morning, the Barracuda revealed new challenges, hidden rust patches under the floor panels, oddly configured wiring, and previous owners' unconventional modifications that demanded creative problem-solving. Michael approached each challenge with patience and methodical planning, balancing technical precision with the intuitive understanding of a craftsman who had spent years coaxing life from neglected machines. Jay's hands were smeared with oil, his movements both efficient and theatrical as he navigated each obstacle. "I swear," he muttered, "these cars have a mind of their own. And I think they're mocking me." Rebecca adjusted a small linkage, recording every angle, distance, and measurement. "Madness," she whispered, "is not the enemy. It is the tool that allows us to create order from chaos." As the hours passed, the Barracuda's skeletal frame began to transform, welds reinforcing weakened areas, and freshly cleaned components revealing the artistry hidden beneath years of neglect. The Corvette, under Jay's and Michael's careful hands, exhibited a personality of its own, brakes aligning with precision, wiring straightened and rerouted, and subtle frame imperfections carefully corrected. Michael wiped sweat from his brow and observed the scene. "Restoration," he said, "is a dialogue between the past and the present, between decay and craftsmanship. Each car speaks differently, but the message is always there if we listen." Jay chuckled, wiping his hands on a rag. "And sometimes it's swearing in every dialect imaginable." Rebecca's meticulous documentation captured the subtle victories, the frustrations, and the sparks of ingenuity that defined the process. "Record-keeping," she said softly, "is how we preserve triumph, failure, and creativity alike." Mid-afternoon brought an unexpected arrival, a vintage Camaro, gleaming despite its age, pulling into the lot with an aura of both challenge and promise. Michael approached it cautiously, eyes narrowing as he assessed the condition. "Another test," he murmured. "And like the Barracuda, it comes with attitude. But beauty always demands respect." Jay's grin widened. "Attitude. That's my specialty," he said, letting the toolbox clatter dramatically as he circled the Camaro. Rebecca opened her notebook, already charting measurements, anticipating complications, and plotting the strategy for the day. "Preparation," she said, "is the bridge between madness and mastery." The day blurred into a rhythm of labor, clinking tools, sparks from grinders, engines coaxed to life, and hands moving in synchronized chaos. Michael orchestrated repairs and adjustments with both skill and intuition, balancing historical fidelity with functional restoration. Jay tackled stubborn components with equal measures of brute force and creativity, his hands smeared with oil and sweat but his spirit unbroken. Rebecca meticulously documented every stage, ensuring clarity and precision in a process that, without her care, could easily dissolve into confusion. By late afternoon, the Barracuda had revealed its final challenges, hidden rust patches demanding delicate welding, throttle linkages requiring precise adjustment, and wiring that needed careful rerouting. The Corvette, partially restored, glimmered faintly under the dust and sun, its lines hinting at elegance, speed, and power reborn. The Camaro, still untouched, waited silently, a challenge yet to be fully understood and conquered. Michael surveyed the lot, pride and anticipation mixing in his chest. "Tomorrow," he said, "we continue. We rebuild, restore, and coax life back into these machines. And we do it knowing the margin between genius and madness is razor thin." Jay leaned against a workbench, hands on his hips, smiling broadly. Thin lines. That's my playground. Rebecca, adjusting her camera, captured reflections, shadows, and the subtle gleam of polished metal. With every bolt, every panel, every wire, she said softly, we learn patience, creativity, and the value of controlled chaos. As the sun dipped behind the hills, Rust Valley was bathed in long shadows, soft amber, and muted purples. Engines cooled, tools were stored, and the valley settled into a brief respite before the next day's challenges. The Barracuda, stripped to its frame, radiated promise and defiance. The Corvette, partially restored, hinted at speed and elegance reborn. The Camaro, waiting silently, demanded ingenuity and careful attention in the days ahead. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca shared a quiet acknowledgement. Rust Valley thrived not only on metal and oil but on the energy, ambition, and control madness of those willing to embrace it fully. The scent of oil and metal lingered in the cool evening air, mingling with the anticipation of discovery and triumph. In Rust Valley, being a little mad was not just acceptable, it was essential. Every restored car became a story, a testament to human ingenuity, patience, and the ability to find beauty in chaos. Night settled fully, painting the valley in deep blues and purples, while stars emerged overhead, twinkling like sparks over a field of endless possibility. Engines rested, vehicles exhaled, and the promise of tomorrow's trials hummed quietly in the air. The Barracuda, Corvette, and Camaro waited, silent but alive with potential, ready to challenge the skill, patience, and slightly unhinged genius of their restorers. Michael paused at the edge of the lot, a thrill of anticipation mingling with exhaustion coursing through him. Tomorrow, he said, we dance again with chaos, skill, and ambition. Jay grinned, tightening the strap on his toolbox. And I wouldn't want it any other way. Rebecca closed her notebook, her calm demeanor a gentle anchor amid the surrounding energy. With every component, every panel, and every spark, she said, we are crafting not just restored machines, but stories, triumphs, and lessons in the art of control madness. Rust Valley pulsed quietly under the night sky, alive with energy, potential, and the promise of creation. Cars, human hands, and the delicate madness that connected them thrummed in unison, a living symphony of metal, oil, and creativity. And as darkness fully claimed the valley, the Barracuda, Corvette, and Camaro waited, ready to awaken under the skilled, slightly unhinged hands of those who embraced the beautiful madness of Rust Valley. Here, being a little mad was not just allowed, it was required. And in that requirement lay the exhilaration, triumph, and artistry that define every restored engine, polished panel, and resurrected vehicle. The first light of dawn spilled across Rust Valley, painting the lot in muted golds and soft shadows that danced across the metal of vehicles waiting for the day's labor. Michael arrived first, thermos in hand, the familiar aroma of strong coffee mingling with the faint tang of oil and rust in the air. He paused at the Barracuda, skeletal yet full of potential, running a gloved hand along the frame as if feeling for the pulse of the machine beneath its stripped panels. It's patient, he whispered, but it demands respect, and it always keeps secrets. Jay rolled in moments later, toolbox rattling with a chaotic symphony of loose bolts and metal scraps. Morning, maestro of mayhem, he called, spinning a wrench between his fingers. Ready to argue with stubborn metal and impossible wiring? Michael smirked. Argue? Today we negotiate, cajole, and occasionally charm. Rebecca arrived quietly, notebook and camera in hand, her calm presence steadying the storm around them. Madness, she said, placing her notebook on the bench, requires observation before engagement. Let's see what lessons these machines will teach today. The team fell into their practice rhythm, a ballet of chaos and precision. Jay wrestled with the stubborn suspension and misaligned components, muttering theatrically as bolts refused to budge. Michael traced structural weaknesses, envisioned welds, and plotted reinforcements that balanced historical integrity with functional restoration. Rebecca documented every action, capturing measurements, photographs, and the subtle energy of the team's labor. The valley outside hummed with ambient life, the distant roar of an engine, birds calling from rusted signs, and the gentle sway of leaves in the morning breeze. Each sound became a counterpoint in the orchestra of creation, chaos, and skill that defined Russ Valley. By mid-morning, the Barracuda revealed hidden challenges, corroded floor braces, non-standard wiring twists, and previous owners' idiosyncratic modifications that demanded ingenuity and patience. Michael approached each problem methodically, balancing skill with intuition gained from years of coaxing life from long-neglected machines. Jay's hands were slick with grease, his movements a mix of finesse and brute force as he confronted each obstacle. "I swear," he muttered, "these cars have a personality, and some are sarcastic." Rebecca adjusted delicate linkages, recording each measurement with care. "Control madness," she whispered. "It allows order to emerge from chaos." The afternoon brought both triumph and challenge. The Barracuda's frame, though skeletal, began to reveal strength restored, welds reinforcing weak spots, and components cleaned to reveal the artistry beneath years of neglect. The Corvette, under Jay's and Michael's hands, displayed a personality of its own, brakes aligning, wiring rerouted, and subtle frame damage corrected with meticulous care. Michael wiped his brow, surveying the lot. "Restoration is a dialogue," he said, "between past and present, decay and skill. Each car speaks, and we must listen closely." Jay chuckled. "Sometimes I think they only speak in expletives." Rebecca's documentation captured every nuance, triumphs, frustrations, sparks of ingenuity, and moments of near chaos. "Record-keeping," she said softly, "preserves both our failures and successes for the future." Late afternoon brought a surprise. A 1969 Camaro, gleaming despite its age, rolled into the lot, demanding immediate attention. Michael approached cautiously, assessing its condition with the practiced eye of someone accustomed to both challenge and frustration. "Another story to untangle," he murmured. "It's beautiful, but beauty rarely comes without complications." Jay grinned. "Complications are my specialty," he said, setting down his toolbox with a clatter. Rebecca opened her notebook, preparing to document every nuance, anticipating the challenges, and plotting strategies for the day. "Preparation," she said, "is the bridge between chaos and mastery." The day dissolved into a rhythm of labor, clinking tools, sparks from grinders, engines coaxed to life, and human hands moving in practiced chaos. Michael orchestrated repairs and modifications with precision and intuition, balancing historical authenticity with practical restoration. Jay tackled obstinate components with a mix of brute force and cleverness, his hands smeared with oil but his spirit unbroken. Rebecca documented each step meticulously, ensuring clarity and comprehension despite the surrounding pandemonium. By late afternoon, the Barracuda revealed its final challenges, rust patches demanding delicate welding, throttle linkages requiring adjustment, and wiring needing careful rerouting. The Corvette, partially restored, glimmered faintly under dust and sun, its lines hinting at elegance and renewed power. The Camaro, freshly arrived, waited silently, its potential and problems yet to be fully understood. Michael surveyed the lot, a mixture of pride, anticipation, and exhaustion flowing through him. "Tomorrow," he said, "we rebuild, restore, and breathe life into these machines. Madness and skill will guide us, and the margin between them is razor-thin." Jay leaned against a workbench, grinning. "Thin lines are my playground." Rebecca, adjusting her camera, captured reflections, shadows, and the subtle gleam of polished metal. With every bolt, every wire, every panel, she said softly, we learn patience, creativity, and the beauty of controlled chaos. As the sun fell behind the hills, Rust Valley was bathed in long shadows, soft amber light, and muted purples. Engines cooled, tools were stowed, and the valley settled into a quiet rhythm, a brief interlude before the next day's challenges. The Barracuda, skeletal and honest, radiated promise and defiance. The Corvette, partially restored, hinted at speed, precision, and elegance reborn. The Camaro, silent, demanded ingenuity and careful attention in the days ahead. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca shared a quiet acknowledgement. Rust Valley thrived not only on metal and oil but on energy, ambition, and controlled madness. The scent of oil and metal lingered in the cool evening air, mingling with anticipation and triumph. In Rust Valley, a little madness wasn't just tolerated, it was essential. Each restored car became a story, a testament to ingenuity, patience, and the ability to find beauty in chaos. Night fell fully, painting the valley in deep blues and purples, while stars twinkled overhead like sparks scattered across a field of endless possibility. Engines rested, vehicles exhaled, and the promise of tomorrow's trials hummed quietly in the air. The Barracuda, Corvette, and Camaro waited, silent yet alive, ready to challenge the skill, patience, and slightly unhinged genius of their restorers. Michael paused at the edge of the lot, a thrill of anticipation mingling with exhaustion. Tomorrow, he said, the dance continues. Challenges, triumphs, and lessons in controlled chaos await. Jay grinned, tightening the strap on his toolbox. And I wouldn't want it any other way. Rebecca closed her notebook, calm yet quietly exhilarated. With every component, every panel, every spark, she said, we craft not just restored machines, but stories, triumphs, and lessons in the art of controlled madness. Rust Valley pulsed quietly under the night sky, alive with energy, potential, and the promise of creation. Cars, human hands, and the delicate madness that connected them thrummed in unison, a living symphony of metal, oil, and creativity. And as darkness fully claimed the valley, the Barracuda, Corvette, and Camaro waited, ready to awaken under the skilled, slightly unhinged hands of those who embraced the beautiful madness of Rust Valley. In this place, being a little mad wasn't merely permitted, it was required. And in that requirement lay exhilaration, artistry, and triumph, echoing in every polished panel, every welded joint, and every resurrected engine. The morning in Rust Valley broke with a golden haze that filtered through the workshop windows, casting long, shifting shadows over the cars and tools scattered across the lot. Michael arrived first, a thermos of coffee in hand and the lingering scent of oil clinging to his clothes, feeling the familiar mixture of excitement and apprehension that greeted every day spent among the resurrecting machines. The Barracuda, stripped to its skeletal frame, sat in the center of the workshop, revealing every flaw and every hidden promise. Michael ran a gloved hand along its curves, feeling the tension and history in the metal. It's alive, he murmured, but it's alive on its own terms. You have to earn its trust. Jay arrived moments later, toolbox rattling like a percussive announcement of chaos. Morning, Maestro, he said, spinning a wrench between his fingers. Ready to negotiate with stubborn bolts, impossible wiring, and cars that have better attitudes than most humans? Michael smirked. Negotiate, cajole, charm, it all comes down to the same thing, survival. Rebecca arrived quietly, her notebook and camera at the ready. Madness, she said, placing her notebook on the bench, is only effective when documented. Let's make today count. The team dove into their familiar rhythm. Jay wrestled with the suspension and tricky wiring, his hands smeared with grease, muttering theatrical expletives at bolts that refused to cooperate. Michael traced structural weaknesses, envisioning welds and reinforcements that would restore integrity without erasing history. Rebecca meticulously recorded each step, photographing, labeling, and capturing the subtle interactions between hands, tools, and machines, ensuring that the day's chaos could later be passed, studied, and celebrated. Outside, Russ Valley was alive with ambient sound, the distant roar of engines, birds flitting between rusted signs, and the gentle sway of leaves stirred by a morning breeze. Each noise became part of the symphony of labor and creativity, a counterpoint to the clinks of metal, the sparks of grinders, and the hum of human determination. By mid-morning, the Barracuda revealed new secrets, rust hidden beneath patch panels, wiring that defied logic, and modifications by previous owners that demanded patience and ingenuity. Michael approached each challenge with measured hands and a mind honed by years of coaxing life from forgotten machines. Jay's hands moved with both finesse and brute force as he negotiated the vehicle's stubborn components. "They have personalities," he muttered. "And some are sarcastic." Rebecca adjusted delicate linkages, recording every measurement with meticulous care. "Control madness," she whispered, "is the lens through which order emerges from chaos." The afternoon brought triumphs and challenges alike. The Barracuda's frame, now partially reinforced, revealed glimpses of its former strength, welds solidifying weak areas, and clean components exposing the artistry of its original construction. The Corvette, under Michael's and Jay's hands, displayed a renewed personality, brakes aligning precisely, wiring straightened and rerouted, and subtle frame imperfections corrected with care and precision. Michael wiped sweat from his brow and observed the progress. "Restoration is a conversation," he said. "Between decay and skill, between past and present. Every car speaks, we just have to listen." Jay chuckled. "Sometimes they speak in swear words." Rebecca's documentation captured every nuance, the triumphs, the setbacks, the sparks of inspiration and frustration that defined their work. "Record-keeping preserves both failure and success," she said softly. Late afternoon brought a fresh challenge. A 1970 Chevelle rolled into the lot, gleaming despite years of neglect. Michael approached cautiously, assessing its condition. "Another story waiting to be rewritten," he said. "It's beautiful, but beauty rarely comes without complications." Jay's grin widened. "Complications are my specialty," he said, setting down the toolbox with a dramatic clatter. Rebecca opened her notebook, planning measurements, anticipating obstacles, and plotting strategy. "Preparation," she said, "is the bridge between chaos and mastery." The day dissolved into a rhythm of labor, clinking tools, sparks from grinders, engines coaxed into life, and human hands moving in synchrony with chaos and precision. Michael orchestrated repairs with skill and intuition, balancing the need for historical fidelity with practical restoration. Jay tackled obstinate components with a mix of brute force and cleverness, his hands smeared with oil and sweat but his determination unbroken. Rebecca documented every movement meticulously, ensuring clarity and continuity in a process that could otherwise collapse into confusion. By late afternoon, the Barracuda revealed its final secrets for the day: rust patches demanding delicate welding, throttle linkages needing adjustment, and wiring requiring careful rerouting. The Corvette, partially restored, gleamed faintly under the dust and sun, its lines hinting at renewed elegance and power. The Camaro and Chevelle, freshly arrived, waited silently, holding potential and challenges yet to be fully understood. Michael surveyed the lot, pride and anticipation mingling in his chest. "Tomorrow," he said, "we rebuild, restore, and breathe life into these machines. Madness and skill will guide us, and the line between them is razor thin." Jay leaned against the workbench, smiling broadly. Thin lines. That's my playground. Rebecca adjusted her camera, capturing reflections, shadows, and the subtle gleam of polished metal. With every bolt, wire, and panel, she said softly, we learn patience, creativity, and the beauty of controlled chaos. As the sun set behind the hills, Rust Valley was bathed in long shadows, amber light, and muted purples. Engines cooled, tools were stowed, and the valley settled into a brief respite before tomorrow's challenges. The Barracuda, skeletal and honest, radiated promise and defiance. The Corvette, partially restored, hinted at speed, precision, and elegance reborn. The Camaro and Chevelle waited silently, demanding ingenuity and careful attention. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca shared a quiet acknowledgement. Rust Valley thrived not just on metal and oil but on energy, ambition, and controlled madness. The scent of oil and metal lingered in the cool evening air, mingling with anticipation and triumph. In Rust Valley, being a little mad wasn't optional, it was essential. Every restored car became a story, a testament to ingenuity, patience, and the ability to find beauty in chaos. Night fell fully, painting the valley in deep blues and purples, while stars twinkled above like sparks over a field of endless possibilities. Engines rested, vehicles exhaled, and the promise of tomorrow's trials hummed quietly in the air. The Barracuda, Corvette, Camaro, and Chevelle waited, silent yet alive, ready to test the skill, patience, and slightly unhinged genius of their restorers. Michael paused at the edge of the lot, thrill and exhaustion mingling in his chest. Tomorrow, he said, the dance continues, new challenges, new triumphs, lessons in controlled chaos. Jay grinned, tightening the strap on his toolbox. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Rebecca closed her notebook, calm yet quietly exhilarated. With every component, every panel, every spark, she said, we craft not just restored machines but stories, triumphs, and lessons in the art of controlled madness. Rust Valley pulsed quietly under the night sky, alive with energy, potential, and the promise of creation. Cars, human hands, and the delicate madness that connected them thrummed in unison, a living symphony of metal, oil, and creativity. And as darkness fully claimed the valley, the Barracuda, Corvette, Camaro, and Chevelle waited, ready to awaken under the skilled, slightly unhinged hands of those who embraced the beautiful madness of Rust Valley. Here, being a little mad was not merely allowed, it was required. And in that requirement lay exhilaration, artistry, and triumph, echoing in every polished panel, every welded joint, and every resurrected engine. The morning in Rust Valley broke with a crisp clarity, the sun spilling golden light across the workshop, highlighting the myriad vehicles awaiting attention. Michael arrived first, thermos in hand, the faint aroma of coffee mingling with oil and metal, a ritual that marked the beginning of another day of chaos and creation. The Barracuda, skeletal yet brimming with potential, sat in the center of the lot, every weld, panel, and rusted seam telling its own story. Michael ran a gloved hand along the edge of the fender, feeling the tension and history embedded in the metal. Every scar, he whispered, is a story, and every story demands respect. Jay rolled in shortly after, toolbox rattling like a percussive introduction to the day. Morning, maestro, he said, tossing a wrench from hand to hand. Ready to argue with bolts, wiring, and stubborn metal that clearly has an attitude? Michael smirked. Negotiate, charm, cajole, it all comes down to the same thing, coaxing life from the impossible. Rebecca arrived quietly, notebook and camera in hand, her calm presence anchoring the whirlwind around them. Madness, she said, placing her notebook on the bench, requires structure and observation. Let's capture the chaos today. The team fell into a rhythm that was both chaotic and precise. Jay wrestled with the stubborn suspension and misaligned components, muttering theatrically at bolts that refused to budge. Michael traced structural weaknesses, planned welds, and plotted reinforcements that would restore integrity without erasing the Barracuda's unique character. Rebecca meticulously recorded every step, photographing, labeling, and capturing the subtle interactions between hands, tools, and machines. Outside, Rust Valley hummed with life, distant engines roared, birds called from rusted signs, and the breeze stirred dust into shifting columns of light. Each sound became part of the symphony of labor, creativity, and chaos defining the lot. By mid-morning, the Barracuda revealed hidden challenges, rust beneath previously patched panels, wiring that defied conventional logic, and unconventional modifications that demanded ingenuity and patience. Michael approached each problem with methodical care, balancing skill and intuition honed over years of coaxing life from long-neglected vehicles. Jay's hands moved with both finesse and brute force as he wrestled with the car's obstinate components. "I swear," he muttered, "these cars have personalities, and some are sarcastic." Rebecca adjusted delicate linkages, recording measurements meticulously. "Control madness," she whispered, "is the tool through which order emerges from chaos." The afternoon brought both triumph and challenge. The Barracuda's frame, partially reinforced, revealed glimpses of its former strength, welds solidifying weak areas, and clean components exposing hidden artistry. The Corvette, under Michael's and Jay's hands, displayed a renewed personality, brakes aligning, wiring rerouted, and subtle frame damage corrected with precision and care. Michael wiped his brow and observed the scene. "Restoration is a dialogue," he said, "between decay and skill, between past and present. Each car speaks, and we must listen closely." Jay chuckled. "Sometimes they only speak in expletives." Rebecca's documentation captured the nuances, triumphs, setbacks, and sparks of ingenuity that defined the process. "Record-keeping preserves both failures and successes," she said softly. Late afternoon brought a fresh challenge, a 1967 Plymouth GTX, gleaming despite years of neglect, rolled into the lot, demanding immediate attention. Michael approached cautiously, assessing its condition with practiced precision. "Another story waiting to be rewritten," he murmured. "Beauty rarely comes without complications." Jay grinned. "Complications are my specialty," he said, letting the toolbox clatter dramatically as he circled the GTX. Rebecca opened her notebook, planning measurements, anticipating challenges, and plotting strategy. "Preparation," she said, "bridges chaos and mastery." The day dissolved into a rhythm of labor, clinking tools, sparks from grinders, engines coaxed to life, and hands moving in synchronized chaos and precision. Michael orchestrated repairs with skill and intuition, balancing historical fidelity with practical restoration. Jay tackled obstinate components with a mix of brute force and cleverness, his hands smeared with oil but his determination unwavering. Rebecca documented each step meticulously, ensuring clarity and continuity in a process that could otherwise collapse into confusion. By late afternoon, the Barracuda revealed its final secrets for the day: rust patches demanding delicate welding, throttle linkages needing adjustment, and wiring requiring careful rerouting. The Corvette, partially restored, glimmered faintly under the dust and sun, its lines hinting at elegance and renewed power. The Camaro, Chevelle, and now the Plymouth GTX waited silently, potential and challenges yet to be fully understood. Michael surveyed the lot, a mixture of pride, anticipation, and exhaustion flowing through him. "Tomorrow," he said, "we rebuild, restore, and breathe life into these machines. Madness and skill will guide us, and the line between them is razor-thin." Jay leaned against a workbench, smiling broadly. "Thin lines?" That's my playground. Rebecca adjusted her camera, capturing reflections, shadows, and the subtle gleam of polished metal. With every bolt, every wire, every panel, she said softly, we learn patience, creativity, and the beauty of controlled chaos. As the sun set behind the hills, Rust Valley was bathed in long shadows, soft amber light, and muted purples. Engines cooled, tools were stored, and the valley settled into a brief respite before tomorrow's challenges. The Barracuda, skeletal and honest, radiated promise and defiance. The Corvette, partially restored, hinted at speed, precision, and elegance reborn. The Camaro, Chevelle, and Plymouth GTX waited silently, demanding ingenuity and careful attention in the days ahead. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca shared a quiet acknowledgement. Rust Valley thrived not just on metal and oil but on energy, ambition, and controlled madness. The scent of oil and metal lingered in the cool evening air, mingling with anticipation and triumph. In Rust Valley, being a little mad wasn't optional, it was essential. Each restored car became a story, a testament to ingenuity, patience, and the ability to find beauty in chaos. Night fell fully, painting the valley in deep blues and purples, while stars twinkled above like sparks scattered across a field of endless possibilities. Engines rested, vehicles exhaled, and the promise of tomorrow's trials hummed quietly in the air. The Barracuda, Corvette, Camaro, Chevelle, and Plymouth GTX waited, silent yet alive, ready to test the skill, patience, and slightly unhinged genius of their restorers. Michael paused at the edge of the lot, thrill and exhaustion mingling in his chest. Tomorrow, he said, the dance continues. Challenges, triumphs, and lessons in controlled chaos await. Jay grinned, tightening the strap on his toolbox. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Rebecca closed her notebook, calm yet quietly exhilarated. With every component, every panel, every spark, she said, we craft not just restored machines but stories, triumphs, and lessons in the art of control madness. Rust Valley pulsed quietly under the night sky, alive with energy, potential, and the promise of creation. Cars, human hands, and the delicate madness that connected them thrummed in unison, a living symphony of metal, oil, and creativity. And as darkness fully claimed the valley, the Barracuda, Corvette, Camaro, Chevelle, and Plymouth GTX waited, ready to awaken under the skilled, slightly unhinged hands of those who embraced the beautiful madness of Rust Valley. In this world, being a little mad was not merely permitted, it was required. And in that requirement lay exhilaration, artistry, and triumph, echoing in every polished panel, every welded joint, and every resurrected engine. The morning light in Rust Valley broke with an almost sacred clarity, the sun spilling across the lot and casting long, golden shadows over the vehicles that waited for the day's work. Michael arrived first, thermos in hand, the familiar aroma of coffee blending with the scent of oil and metal in the air, a ritual that grounded him before the chaos of creation began. The Barracuda, stripped to its skeletal frame, sat in the center of the lot, each panel, bolt, and rusted seam telling its own story. Michael ran a gloved hand along its curves, feeling the tension, the history, and the hidden promise in the metal. Every scar, he whispered, is a story waiting to be heard, a challenge to be respected. Jay arrived shortly after, toolbox rattling with a chaotic symphony of loose bolts and tools. Morning, maestro of madness, he said, spinning a wrench theatrically between his fingers. Ready to argue with metal that refuses to bend, wiring that rebels, and cars with more attitude than most humans? Michael smirked. Negotiate, cajole, charm, it all comes down to coaxing life from what others have abandoned. Rebecca arrived quietly, notebook and camera in hand, her calm presence anchoring the storm around them. Madness, she said, placing her notebook on the bench, is only effective when observed, documented, and respected. Let's record every moment. The team settled into their rhythm, a combination of chaos, precision, and artistry. Jay wrestled with stubborn suspension components and misaligned brackets, muttering theatrically as bolts refused to cooperate. Michael traced structural weaknesses, planned welds, and plotted reinforcements to restore integrity without erasing the character of the Barracuda. Rebecca meticulously documented every step, photographing, labeling, and capturing the subtle interplay between hands, tools, and machines. Outside, Rust Valley was alive, engines roared in the distance, birds called from rusted signs, and a light breeze swirled dust into shafts of sun. Each sound contributed to the symphony of labor and creativity that defined the lot. By mid-morning, the Barracuda revealed hidden challenges, corroded braces under floor panels, wiring that defied standard configurations, and modifications from previous owners that required patience and ingenuity. Michael approached each obstacle with methodical care, balancing skill with intuition honed through years of coaxing life from forgotten machines. Jay's hands moved with a mixture of finesse and brute force as he confronted the car's obstinate components. "I swear," he muttered, "these cars have personalities, and some are sarcastic beyond belief." Rebecca adjusted delicate linkages, recording measurements with meticulous precision. "Control madness," she whispered, "is how order emerges from chaos." The afternoon passed in a rhythm of labor and triumph. The Barracuda's frame, now partially reinforced, revealed glimpses of its former strength. Well-solidified weak spots, and clean components exposed their artistry beneath years of neglect. The Corvette, under Michael's and Jay's hands, displayed a renewed personality, brakes aligning precisely, wiring rerouted, and subtle frame damage corrected with care. Michael wiped sweat from his brow, surveying the scene. "Restoration," he said, "is a dialogue between past and present, decay and skill. Every car speaks if we listen closely." Jay chuckled. "And sometimes they only speak in expletives." Rebecca documented every nuance, the victories, setbacks, and sparks of ingenuity that defined their work. "Record-keeping," she said softly, "preserves failure and triumph alike." Late afternoon brought the final arrival, a 1971 Dodge Challenger, sleek and defiant, rolled into the lot, demanding immediate attention. Michael approached cautiously, eyes narrowing as he assessed its condition. "Another story waiting to be rewritten," he murmured. "It's perfect in attitude, if flawed in reality." Jay's grin widened. "Flaws are my canvas," he said, letting his toolbox drop with a metallic clatter. Rebecca opened her notebook, ready to capture every detail, anticipating challenges, and plotting the strategy for the day. "Preparation," she said, "is the bridge between chaos and mastery." The day blurred into a symphony of labor, clinking tools, sparks from grinders, engines coaxed awake, and hands moving in harmony with chaos and precision. Michael orchestrated repairs and adjustments with skill and intuition, balancing historical fidelity with practical restoration. Jay tackled obstinate components with equal measures of brute force and cleverness, his hands smeared with grease but spirit unbroken. Rebecca documented every step meticulously, ensuring clarity and continuity in a process that could easily dissolve into confusion without her care. By late afternoon, the Barracuda revealed its final secrets, rust patches demanding delicate welding, throttle linkages requiring adjustment, and wiring needing careful rerouting. The Corvette, partially restored, glimmered faintly under the sun and dust, its lines hinting at elegance and renewed power. The Camaro, Chevelle, Plymouth GTX, and Challenger waited silently, each holding potential and challenges yet to be fully understood. Michael surveyed the lot, a mixture of pride, anticipation, and exhaustion washing over him. Tomorrow, he said, we rebuild, restore, and breathe life into these machines. Madness and skill will guide us, and the margin between them is razor thin. Jay leaned against a workbench, smiling. Thin lines? That's my playground. Rebecca adjusted her camera, capturing reflections, shadows, and the gleam of polished metal. With every bolt, every wire, every panel, she said softly, we learn patience, creativity, and the beauty of controlled chaos. As the sun set behind the hills, Rust Valley was bathed in long shadows, soft amber light, and muted purples. Engines cooled, tools were stowed, and the valley settled into a quiet rhythm, a brief respite before tomorrow's challenges. The Barracuda, skeletal and honest, radiated promise and defiance. The Corvette, partially restored, hinted at speed, precision, and elegance reborn. The Camaro, Chevelle, Plymouth GTX, and Dodge Challenger waited silently, demanding ingenuity and careful attention in the days ahead. Michael, Jay, and Rebecca shared a quiet acknowledgement. Rust Valley thrived not only on metal and oil but on energy, ambition, and controlled madness. The scent of oil and metal lingered in the cool evening air, mingling with anticipation and triumph. In Rust Valley, being a little mad wasn't optional, it was essential. Every restored car became a story, a testament to ingenuity, patience, and the ability to find beauty in chaos. Night fell fully, painting the valley in deep blues and purples, while stars twinkled overhead like sparks scattered across a field of endless possibilities. Engines rested, vehicles exhaled, and the promise of future challenges hummed quietly in the air. The Barracuda, Corvette, Camaro, Chevelle, Plymouth GTX, and Dodge Challenger waited, silent yet alive, ready to test the skill, patience, and slightly unhinged genius of their restorers. Michael paused at the edge of the lot, thrill and exhaustion mingling in his chest. Tomorrow, he said, the dance continues. Triumphs, lessons, and challenges in controlled chaos await. Jay grinned, tightening the strap on his toolbox. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Rebecca closed her notebook, calm yet quietly exhilarated. With every component, every panel, every spark, she said, we craft not just restored machines but stories, triumphs, and lessons in the art of control madness. Rust Valley pulsed quietly under the night sky, alive with energy, potential, and the promise of creation. Cars, human hands, and the delicate madness that connected them thrummed in unison, a living symphony of metal, oil, and creativity. And as darkness fully claimed the valley, the Barracuda, Corvette, Camaro, Chevelle, Plymouth GTX, and Dodge Challenger waited, ready to awaken under the skilled, slightly unhinged hands of those who embraced the beautiful madness of Rust Valley. Here, being a little mad was not merely allowed, it was required. And in that requirement lay exhilaration, artistry, and triumph, echoing in every polished panel, every welded joint, and every resurrected engine. Rust Valley lived, and through it, so did the stories of those who dared to embrace the madness within and around them, leaving a legacy in metal, spark, and unyielding passion.